kids from Mexico.
Now we're looking at Hood 2000.
Well, I apologize for putting off topic.
No. I always ask because one of the things that what happens is we'll do this podcast, we'll do 2 hours of it, and then afterwards they'll go, "Hey, you got to cut all that good shit," and I'm like, "All right, that's fine, no problem." But this way, once we've done it enough that we know, I'm like, you know what? I don't have an agenda necessarily, but I want to know where not to go.
Yeah.
So I can see the other direction.
I just should not.
You're a private guy.
There's no worries.
Like you've been more private than a lot of comics that I know, but now you're in the limelight in a way that I'm like, this. I don't even know if you expected this.
No, no, I had no need. You know, we sold the special,
Early bird special.
Yeah, to Comedy Dynamics.
Yeah.
And they sent me a message. Okay, in order to promote the special, you need to get on Instagram and TikTok. I said, give me a minute. Went and looked up Instagram and TikTok. Oh, okay, I think I can do that.
I have a
so I had no idea. We posted the very first reel we posted on Instagram and TikTok, and I think it was on Instagram. I mean, it got 1 million views
instantly
in a day.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, in a day. What I do is just perfect.
Yeah.
For Instagram and TikTok, and so
it's
but
immediately salacious.
I had no idea.
Like you grab attention immediately.
Yeah.
You follow all the rules.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's not any content stuff that you're like, oh, old man Huggins is out there talking vaccines or no.
No,
you're
we do
safe
jokes.
within the.
We do jokes.
And I mean, like the second that you're done watching 3 of them, you're like, I want 2 or 3 more. And guess what? You have hundreds up there. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So it's been very. It was unexpected. I had no idea. I just wanted to have a special. I wanted to, and when we sat down with Comedy Dynamics, I told them, look, I hope everybody makes a lot of money.
Makes some money off this.
I hope, but my main goal is I want as many people as possible to see my stand-up.
Yep.
I want as many people as possible to know that I'm a good stand-up comic. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all. And I think it seems like we've accomplished that to a great degree. There's always more people out there. But right now, a lot of people know I'm a good comic.
You're in a zone, this is what I could describe it as, where it's like people that don't even want to know about you at all are aware of you.
Yeah.
And I say that to say that like my family texts me videos of you. And it it's happened within the recent year as the algorithm has like been churning or whatever. And I'll tell them, I'm like, I've known this guy for forever. And they're like, yeah, sure. They don't believe me at this time. Of course you do. You know everybody. I'm like, no, this is my friend Andy. We were neighbors kind of for a while. It's a meteoric rise, and it couldn't have happened to a more deserving person, by the way.
Well, deserving in some ways, but the way I lived my life for a long time, both personally and professionally, not at all deserving. I mean, it just wasn't. I mean, I wasn't,
a lot of learning.
Yeah, I wasn't evil incarnate or anything, but I was an irresponsible person and inconsiderate. Well, inconsiderate at times, thoughtlessness.
A typical comedian.
Yeah, I wasn't anything to brag on, except my comedy was always good.
It was always a cut above.
But when you take, what do you? I deserve it. I deserve it because of the way I've conducted my life, maybe the last 10 years.
Interesting.
But I'm 75 years old. So there's a long time.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with a late bloomer, though.
Yeah. Well, there's late blooming and there's...
Yeah.
Because that is a thing, too. It's like, I think you were bloomed in terms of talent since the 70s or 80s. Like, there's a public access TV tape of you and the Outlaws or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, the 2 things that stuck out with me about it were like, 1, you were already old when you were young.
I've had friends tell me that. I've had friends.
And I have the same thing.
Yeah.
I kind of embody that old soul thing of like, it's better to be wise and curmudgeonly than to have this excess of youth and create the expectation of like, oh, they're always what. You're like, no, I'm upset. My back
everybody
hurts.
gets sick of that guy.
They get sick of the.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had friends tell me, you've always been an old man. Oh, okay.
But you've juxtaposed some of the, when I say old, it's like you like the rules to some degree.
Very much so. Very much so.
But you also do a thing that a lot of older, or senior people don't do. You keep in touch. You always have at least 5 or 6 references that you're like, you have to be 17 to understand what he's saying.
Yeah. Well, and I do that by watching other comics.
Absolutely,
the other young comics.
Mm-hmm.
And every once in a while, I'll hear a phrase that...
and you'll ask, you're like, what is that? Let's
Well, sometimes I understand it from context. Sometimes I don't know.
Well, my first open mic ever that I ever went to was at Warehouse Live, and you were on stage, the third comic, I believe, because I walked in and out like a bunch. It was going up, so I was just pacing the whole time and nervous or whatever, and I wasn't really paying attention to the other comics because no one was really killing. Everyone was just kind of doing their like struggling at an open mic thing, and then you were up on stage, and I remember starting to come into like paying attention because the crowd was dying. And you were doing the bit about, I don't know if I can give away one of your bits, but you don't do this anymore, about how you had a street name when you played basketball.
Oh, yeah, I don't do that.
And the whole crowd would chant, Black Jesus, Black Jesus. It literally, in that moment, it changed something about how my brain perceived comedy, where you go, oh, you can play with concepts so much and set up expectations that anything is possible. Yeah. It had a lasting impact on me. And I'm sure many people have stories like that. They're like, wow, I saw Andy do this and it changed how I thought about stand-up.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's flattering. I
think it's true. It comes from a place of incredibly hard work. And I think, like you said you made some sort of poor decisions in the early part of your career.
Yeah.
But I think that comes from overvaluing just the craft and just what's on stage.
I did not pay attention to some stuff that career-wise I should have been paying attention to. It's odd because it's not like I saw what was out there and made a conscious decision. Well, I'm not going to follow that path.
Yeah.
Just so much stuff just never occurred to me. I would be at a party. No, I remember at the Comedy Store or at the Last Stop, and somebody important would be there, and I do my set and hang out. Then go home. I get home. Why didn't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, why didn't you go and bother?
It just would never occur to me.
Not a part of my incentive structure.
Yeah. And that's the kind of mistakes I would make. I very rarely. In fact, I can't think of a single time where I sat down and looked and made a philosophical decision, a moral decision. I'm not going to do that. I just didn't do things that I should have done.
Was anyone in that crew, right, the sort of like 70s, 80s, LA and Houston like scene that were part of your friends, right? And I'm asking the Outlaws specifically. Was anyone really good at networking, or was that a byproduct?
No. And I've often talked about it with Jimmy Pineapple, my best friend. He was one of the Outlaws.
Is that his real last name?
No, his last name is Lad Moreau.
Oh, okay.
But he's one of the funniest guys.
Yeah, he's great. He's great. But the organizer of the Outlaws, and God bless him, he's a great guy, is Steve Epstein. And we went, okay,
really?
Yeah. We...
No relation.
No,
but I remember seeing his name a lot on the
on the list.
No.
Yeah, Steve has a list, and I don't know you'd want to be on that list either. Just Epstein's
the real
list.
unbookable.
There's no Epstein list that sounds nice.
Sounds good. I often wonder how we would have fared if we had the internet. If we could have promoted ourselves that way. As it is, we had to rely on Steve. He organized it, so we kind of just assumed. And he wasn't good at it. He wasn't. And here's the thing with the Outlaws. There wasn't a soul in it except for maybe Steve, who was willing to sacrifice their individual careers for the group.
Absolutely.
To make any sense.
It wasn't a union. It was...
people exaggerate.
It was like a confederation, like the EU.
They exaggerated the importance, the significance, the quality of the group. Yeah. Bill, you want to do a show this Saturday, Outlaw show? Sure. A couple hours. Hey, I just got a gig, and I'm not going to do it. I can't do it. So people would come and go, as if it was convenient to their own schedule. So
Can you explain, if you don't mind, for somebody who's ignorant like me, what the Outlaws was?
it was a group of comics that Steve Epstein put together to do shows.
Gotcha.
The strongest thing as a group about the group was the name.
Yeah.
That's just a great name.
And they did have some, when you look at the bill, like the acts themselves in it, you're like, these guys have a bit of a kind of a bandit sort of vibe to them.
Well, it was Ron Schock in addition to Bill Hicks.
Yep.
And Riley Barber and Jimmy.
Yep. Andy was a part of it. Sam Kinison for a little while.
Well, Sam was a part of another outlaw group.
Oh, really? That was
he
a
wasn't
different
part
one.
of our group.
Hilarious.
Steve, some point in the early 80s, organized a show called Outlaw Comics on the Run or something. And it was Riley Barber, it was Bill, it was Carl LeBeau, it was Sam. They did a show in Houston, and the goal was to raise enough money to finance their move to Los Angeles.
Hilarious.
So this is...
They were doing a pre-GoFundMe, if you will.
Yeah.
Back then it was from Texas to California. Now they do it from California to Texas.
Yeah, and the show tanked. There was no money, but both Epi and Sam adopted the name. Two different groups. So.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sam's group, I think Epi used it first for the Texas guys. Sam used it out here in Los Angeles.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was Mitchell Walters and Alan Stevens.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
And Carl LeBeau, and maybe another person or two, but two different groups.
Yeah, yeah.
I guarantee you,
no idea.
without looking at the books, Sam's was more
Sure.
profitable.
Yeah. Well, going back to your thing where you said, I wonder if we had the internet back then. One of my hottest takes, and this is not something that's very founded in information or whatever, but I kind of believe Bill would have been more famous than Sam if they had the same level of exposure at the same time.
Yeah, I think Bill would have been comedically more articulate.
Yeah.
than Sam.
And he resonated, I think, timelessly. Like there was a timeless class quality to him that Sam had. Sam was very of the moment.
Yeah.
You know.
Bill would have just spent his days going from podcast to podcast. He'd been such a popular.
Absolutely, yeah.
Such a popular.
He was a yapper.
Yeah, I can't see him having his own podcast. I may be wrong about that. He may have attempted it, but when it came to advertising, he wasn't going to read.
Oh my God, yeah.
He wasn't going to read copy.
No, he was not going to be.
I'm not sure he would have accepted any sort of advertising.
You know what's funny? I talk to a lot of comics that claim to be Bill Hicks fans all the time, and then I talk to them about. I'm like, you ever hear this bit about marketers and what they should do? And they're like, no, is it funny? I'm like, it is funny.
It's funny. But boy, he'd have been a popular podcast.
He really would have. It's. I feel like comedy missed out from what having his perspectives around to be able. But also in many ways, I think he's lucky that he didn't get to live to see some of what comedy's become.
Yeah.
Because if the cancer didn't get him, something else would.
I don't know what Bill would be doing or what his attitude would be today if he was still alive. I honestly, geez, it's been 94, so what's that, 6?
92, I thought he died, right? 92 or 93.
Really?
Yeah, he was 32.
92, yeah. He was
32
born
years old.
He was born in 61.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 92. So that's 8 plus 25, 33 years. Who knows? In 33 years, Bill was so curious and adventurous, he'd have been through 4 more changes in 33 years, doing this, doing that. I wish there was a better way of putting it. It's going to sound like a cliche, but Bill very well could have spent time, or still be spending time, on a mountain in Tibet, studying whatever. Or you know what? He could have gone back to stand up full time and been on the road all the time. He could have started a family by now.
He sort of made the most of his time here, because every time I go back and find a new recording of his or something, I found like a set of him. He was like 17 years old headlining in Indianapolis. And I believe they had to tell the crowd he was like 21 or something, because he's doing jokes about having a job and all these kinds of things that are like, he's able to see the perception of it, but he's got none of these experiences whatsoever.
No. Bill Bill was very much influenced by Woody Allen at the beginning, so
Yes.
he would just come up with premises for bits that had nothing to do. He had probably had several bits that were equivalent to Woody Allen said I was moose hunting. No, you weren't Woody, but what's the joke?
Right.
And that was Bill. He'd come up with premises that weren't part of it, but they were jokes.
When you guys met, it was out here, right, in L.A.?
Yeah.
And you guys were still drinking?
We were both still drinking. Well, you know what? Had Bill started drinking yet? I don't know.
Oh, interesting. If he was old enough
he
to...
He died in 92, so he started probably drinking in the late 80s. Bill's drinking history was quite brief.
That's funny.
But see, you know...
So was mine.
Yeah,
I mean, kind of.
I've always had this feeling that Bill knew he had a limit, just some sort of sense that he had a limited time on Earth.
Yeah.
So he compacted a lot of experiences.
Do you believe that people can know that? Because like I have that feeling too, where I'm like, I don't think I'm here for a long time, and people will go like, that's a cynical, weird way. I'm like, I think it's just, it is what it is. Some people are here. Man, now you could be wrong about those instincts.
Oh yeah, see that's the thing. You could be wrong, but I do think some people are right. And
Absolutely,
I
yeah.
think that was one possible reason Bill would do too long on stage.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I only have so much time.
He's like,
stage time
I'm
left.
due. Come on. Well, you guys are going to be here for years. This is
Give me a break. Get off my fucking back. I'm dead in another 2 years. God. So that was always my sense. That was my sense about him and drinking.
Yeah.
For instance. I don't have time to go through, like me, go through the Good Time Charlie or go through figuring out my drinking. You got to figure out your drinking like you figure out your comedy. You got to figure out what you can do and what you can't do and how to go about it. And then you go through the Good Time Charlie period.
Yeah,
where
of course.
Everybody.
Of course.
Epi, was it Epi? Epi, somebody told me one time, me and Jimmy were roommates for a while, and we'd come by the workshop together. And Steve said, boy, we were always glad to see Pineapple and Huggins show up because, you know, the fun level increases a bit. So you go through a Good Time Charlie. Bill skipped over.
Really?
What is a good time, Charlie's?
Oh,
where you're everybody's friend. You're you live for other people. You live to make other people happy, and that's to the detriment of you to some degree.
Yeah, you're always in a good mood.
Yeah.
You're buying the drinks. And your whole devotion is not to responsibility, but to people having a
You're a party animal.
Like Hickey and the Iceman Cometh. Hickey was a good time. Charlie. Everybody loved it when Hickey.
But sometimes those guys annoy people because you're like, hey, I'm here to do a job.
Oh, of course.
I'm here for a purpose, and you're here for social club or something. You know what I mean? So I'm like, it's interesting to see Hicks as a guy who's probably never interested in socializing that much. It just happened. It was a byproduct of him being there.
Yeah.
But he was like, I'm here to say stuff and you know, be intense and whatever.
Yeah. So I just think Bill had that. I just think he had that sense, and I maybe he did. Maybe he did. Maybe I'm wrong.
Back then, but like let's say before '89, was he ever pointed about other comedians? Because eventually, later in his life, he started taking shots at people, both in his act and off stage and whatever. And I think that's a very important part of comedy, criticizing each other, because there's not a lot of other people qualified to do it.
Yeah. I know people that were more pointed. Or,
Yeah.
But, you know.
There was a shift, you're saying. Something happened to kind of...
I'm just thinking about that aspect of Bill just now. So I'm thinking maybe Bill, in a lot of instances, just didn't want to be bothered with criticizing, you know, looking at him closely enough to have an opinion. They weren't important to him.
Interesting.
Now, he, of course, famously took after Leno.
Yeah.
At one point.
And Carrot Top.
But, you know...
But he forgave Carrot Top. He apparently went and saw him like 2 months before Bill died.
I don't want to mention specific names because
Sure.
There's a criticism that goes on. But Bill, towards the end of his life, was praising comics that I know damn well
he didn't even like at all.
Yeah, but you know what happened with Bill, and it's such a beautiful thing, but I think he started seeing the human side of people rather than just their comedy. They're not just their comedy. They got a life beyond that. They got families maybe. They have
his mortality.
Carrot Top as a man was more important than Carrot
Top. Than the
Top
stage thing. Yeah.
You know what? Comedy stuff, that's not that important.
Yeah.
That's what I think maybe he came to accept. The comedy stuff is just not so important that you're going to hate somebody just because they use a lot of props.
Yeah, just because they have slightly different art than you.
Yeah. So, but I imagine a lot of things come into focus when you're dying.
Absolutely.
They just come into focus.
I think in many ways he confronted more about mortality at 30 and 31 than a lot of people do at any point in their life.
He knew.
How long did he know that he had cancer before he passed away?
He got diagnosed.
It was under a year, I thought, right?
Yeah. I think he got diagnosed. Okay. God, the fucking liver cancer,
pancreatic, yeah.
Yeah, it just no.
It was so quick.
He got diagnosed in June, died in February.
Yeah.
So what's that, 8 months?
And
did
Letterman twice, I believe, in between then, or at least one time. You know what I mean? So like you can see the progression of physically something is going different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And but spiritually, he seems incredibly happy. Yeah. He seems incredibly at peace.
Yeah.
One of our friends, Gabe Bravo. I don't know if you've talked to Gabe in the last 10 years or whatever. I just talked to him a few weeks ago.
Well, since the trouble.
Right. Since the times. Well,
he's like Ireland. That was since the trouble.
Yeah. He's dying of liver failure as well, cirrhosis.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And it's
how old?
Really?
He's our age. He's like 36. You know, it's very sad.
Yeah.
But talking to him, he's got this incredible peace. He's like, I feel funnier than I've ever felt. I feel, he's like, I realize I'm just a mortal coil. I'm leaving this behind. And there's this. There's a part of me that's like, I wonder if I believe him.
Yeah.
But there's also a part of me that's like, I'm so jealous that like you don't get peace until right before you're checking out or something.
Yeah, but some people, they get bitter, they get pissed off that they're dying.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but then some people, like Bill and evidently Gabe, it's a beautiful thing in its way.
Bill was my favorite comedian and probably will be till I die. And you shared one of the funniest stories. I don't even know if I'm allowed to talk about it, but the Larry Sanders thing. Do you remember that?
I remember that Bill was called in to audition.
He was called into audition for Jeffrey Tambor's part in Larry Sanders. You ever seen Larry Sanders' show?
I know the show, but I never watched it.
Yeah.
So the sidekick to, the guy that's playing, now I forget Johnny Carson's sidekick name.
Ed McMahon.
Yeah, the guy that's playing like the analog to Ed McMahon or whatever is played by Jeffrey Tambor in Larry Sanders.
Hank, what was Hank's last name?
Hey now, Hank something. I forget his last name, but he had a catchphrase, and he's like literally a goofy goober, like a middle-aged, just ridiculous person. And I guess the writers had written it maybe for Bill Hicks. They're like, let's see what you would be like in this. And Bill allegedly was like, this is one of the stupidest things that's ever been written before. He's like, this is a dumb fit. This doesn't make any sense.
It didn't, because the way Tambor ended up playing it, the guy was in a constant state of ass kissing.
Yeah.
A constant fear that maybe he...
And he was bumbling. He was a bumbling ass kisser.
Yeah.
And you're like, you can't see Bill Hicks playing.
No.
Yeah. I mean, I can't see Bill Hicks doing anything Jeffrey Tambor's ever done.
I know.
Maybe transparent, but that's about it.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah. So that, he came back. I was living in Santa Monica at the time, and Bill came by and just completely puzzled. What just happened?
He was like, why? Why did I waste my time with this?
Yeah. But the thought that kind of miscasting decisions, that's hysterical to me. Because I assume they realized it
right away.
As soon as Bill started reading. Or I wonder if it got that far.
Yeah. Did he tell you how the read went?
I don't know if it got that far.
You were telling me you went to his place or whatever, and you were on his balcony or something, and he was like, "This was one of the stupidest decisions someone's ever made for me."
Yeah.
But they were always trying to get him to do things that didn't really make sense for him.
Right. Yeah. Always.
Well, that was the heyday of comics being offered, you know, a lot of like sitcom-y shit, and a lot of people were just buying into it and going like, well, I'll just change and I'll be that. Like, look at Bob Saget, completely took a role that was never intended for him.
Never, yeah.
And Bill Hicks is just not the guy to be like, oh, let me throw on this new voice and this new face and try something out.
That wasn't going to happen.
Remember back then,
Because
everybody...
he knew he only had so much time. He didn't want...
He's not going to waste it
Yeah,
on
he's
it.
not... Well, he didn't... Who would want that to... If you're dying soon, the number of examples of what your legacy comprises is going to be that much shorter.
Yeah.
Well, I can't afford to have something like that, and what is going to be a very
But it
short
was cool
resume.
that he focused on those 2 albums,
Yeah,
Arizona Bay and Rant and E Minor.
yeah.
Someone was asking Mitch Hedberg at one point, there's an interview, and they're like, you know, Bill knew he was dying, and he still went out there and was like doing all this like important material. Like, would you do that if you knew you were dying? And Mitch was like, well, his material was like about like the government maybe doing murder and hiding it up in front of us. He's like, a lot of my material is about like carrots. He's like, I don't think I would rush.
Yeah.
But one thing that you and Bill...
Hold on, Doctor, I got to do this elevator bit real quick, or the escalator, what is it?
Yeah. One thing you and Bill have in common is a timelessness to your material, and it's from completely different qualities. Bill's is from the fact that society just hasn't fixed the things that he used to rant about, and you're like, that we could make his jokes unfunny. We just haven't fixed those problems.
Yeah.
Yours come from a place of like, you know, comedy material is not evergreen. You can't listen to it over and over again. I've probably listened to your 2015 album like 7 or 8 times.
Yeah.
Because it's just got a timelessness. And I feel like 80% of your act has that, where you're like, it's evergreen. You know what I mean? Even though your life is kind of changing and different stuff or whatever, you're like, this is always a poignant criticism or observation or whatever the root of the joke is. You know, like, is that kind of on purpose, or is that just a complete byproduct?
Nothing is on purpose when it comes to one purpose. When I sit down to write, and I'm not trying to do anything other than get laughs.
Yeah.
That's all. So my jokes comprise of what I think is funny. And I don't give I've never written a joke saying, okay, I'm playing in front of this group, I need to write some jokes to accommodate. Everybody gets the same thing, and everybody gets what I think is funny. Well, I'll put it this way, I write what I think is funny, I keep what the audience.
Yeah.
So if the material is evergreen, the audience is making a contribution to that, because, you know, who knows, I may have written jokes that would have dated very quickly, but the audience didn't laugh at it, so it's not.
So
in the
it didn't
act.
make the
Not in the act.
But also, your standards are incredibly high. Like your standards being so high means that you turn over stuff that's not A+ constantly.
Yeah.
And I feel like that has a bit of a contribution.
Yeah, I do, and I'm not unique in this regard. You are as well. I have high standards, and so that slows down the writing. It slows down the building of the act, because I discard jokes that I don't think meet the standard.
Absolutely, yeah.
So it just takes longer. That's the biggest problem with having high standards. That's a conceited way to put it, but it just takes longer to fill the.
It does.
Fill the minute.
And when you do set up punch, which is the hardest style of comedy to do, if we're being honest, in stand up, it takes the longest to write. It takes the longest to arrange some of the stuff, and it takes the quickest to lose their attention.
Yeah, yeah. That's the biggest. I love doing one-liners. There's so many advantages to one-liners.
They're like baseball pitches.
Yeah. But the problem is it takes so long. I'll have a good week, and at the end of it, I think I added 4 new jokes to the act. Good, a minute. I just added a minute.
Yeah.
I just spent 3 weeks writing jokes. I finally took most of them on stage. 4 passed the muster. Okay, good. I got a minute.
Yeah.
It just...
There's some guys that add a minute of dancing each night to their act.
Oh, yeah. or a minute of dead air, basically.
Completely nothing,
I mean, for better or for worse, and there's both, there's no dead air.
No.
In my act. It's premise, setup, punchline, tag, maybe. then start right in. And the premise is the context for whatever joke I'm doing. I don't have to set things up. I don't have to give any kind of context of why I'm talking about this, that, or the other.
No,
premise, setup, punchline, and
you get to it very quick, which this is the thing for me, for a lot of stand-ups. My issue with most stand-ups is like, Louis C.K. talks about this. I'm like, why are you even talking?
yeah.
There's an issue of like, stand-up is conjecture. You're like, why are we even saying stuff or whatever? You kind of cut that out. The most exposition sometimes you'll give in a bit is, so?
Yeah, yeah. And my rhythm and pacing is such, and I can't do anything. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
And so that fills a lot of,
Yeah.
the time. It's just the way but that.
Now, having those high standards, this is a real interesting thing for me, because I have the same thing, right? High standards for yourself, but it does bleed out to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And how do you keep yourself from being a snob or a critic or someone? Because I know you very well.
Yeah.
I know behind closed doors you'll have different opinions than you will in public.
Yeah.
And publicly you are the nicest person in the world, but I know your brain will tell you, you're like, I don't like this, I don't like this. How do you square these two things?
It's none of my business.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's and this is an attitude I've adopted very recently. In that, don't be so judgmental. Everybody, what comprises stand-up is such a wide range of potential attitudes and potential styles, and everybody's going to do. I'm going to assume everybody's doing the best they can, and everybody's has their high standards or what they think are high standards, and they're going to do what they're going to do. It doesn't affect me at all. That's the basic question. If somebody has an act that I find horrifying, so what?
You're right. You're right.
Yeah. Do I have to follow it?
Sometimes.
No. Am I required to sit in the room and watch it? No.
Well, that was one of the things you taught me, where it was like, I used to sit in the room and stew. It's actually how me and him became friends. Was that
I stopped. I had to stop. I just had to start walking away.
we would sit in the room at the Improv here and not get up.
Yeah.
And homeless people would.
Yeah.
And so we would just be angry and shitty and whatever.
point that.
But it made me and him be friends because it was funny in the way we were being angry and shitty. But you taught me early on, you're like, you can just walk up and leave. And I was like, what a powerful thing that is.
Here's I tell people, doing comedy keeps me young. Watching it's about to fucking kill me. And it's true. I just don't put myself through it. First of all, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter that I get upset about.
No, but there is something with your brain. Like,
Well, yeah, you can't go it, but you don't have to. You don't have to indulge in it.
you don't have to indulge it. Yeah,
You don't
that's
have
the
to rejoice in it. You
One
don't
time-
have to subject other people
one
to
time.
your opinions.
You had already gone up, and you were still hanging out at Rudyard's, and this was like 4 or 5 comics after you. Someone was up there, a friend of ours that sucks, and he was destroying. I mean, he was leveling the room, and I watch you. He walked out and walked down the stairs. I was like, "What's going on up there?" And he's like, "Oh, he is doing puzzling material." That was.
I bet I know who
you know exactly what I'm talking about. It was something where it's like, we don't mind people bombing. Watching someone go down swinging, you're like, that's what happens. Yeah. Watching someone kill with stuff that you're like, this doesn't work at all, and this is like of the moment, and that will eat your soul like a parasite sometimes.
If you let it.
If you let it. Yeah.
Here's here's a philosophy I've adopted recently being the last maybe 5-6 years, that I applied to a lot of different situations. And it's the old Stoic philosophy, in that you can't always control what happens. You can control your attitude towards it. I have no control over what kind of an act somebody has, what they write, what they choose to do. I have no control over that. Nobody ever asked my opinion about their material, for instance.
Really?
No, nobody ever asked me.
I feel like indirectly, though, they want you know what I mean? Like, people will be like, oh, Andy lets me give him rides.
Yeah.
That is like enough of like, because I know people who you're like, I can't be around you for 10 minutes. Like,
that's always a hesitation. God bless Uber, because before I would go on the Houston comic, like who can give me a ride to so and so?
Yeah.
And I always dreaded putting it on here because you can't control who's going to respond.
Yeah, more often than not, it's someone you don't want giving you a ride.
Well, yeah, but you can't tell. Somebody says, "Yeah, I'll give you a ride." I don't think
Actually,
so.
you know what? I'm not moving today.
Yeah.
I'll just stay in my house.
Yeah, so you can't do that. So now you're stuck
Yeah,
with somebody
yeah.
whose company you don't enjoy.
Yeah.
But
Sometimes you start a podcast with them.
But so nobody ever. I have a standing offer to the comics of Houston: buy me breakfast and I'll talk comedy with you.
Right.
All morning, all day, and you can get breakfast at any time in a lot of restaurants.
True.
Yeah.
And nobody ever takes me up on it.
Really?
Which is fine.
That's bizarre. You're a bastion of comedy wealth, basically. Like the amount of knowledge that kind of falls off of you is more than you'll learn directly from most people.
Well, and that's fine. People make and I'm very happy to have breakfast by myself. So that's not a problem. That's not a problem. But, that's, I can't control what they do. So I'm not going to make, and here's another aspect of it. It's obviously not like Bill because I'm 75 years old, but I realize I'm coming down the home stretch here.
No.
Yeah, I'm coming down the home stretch. I'm going to the whip. So I'm not going to spend my time. This is one of my goals now, and this is what I've told my managers. I only want to do what makes me. I only do gigs that make me happy.
Yeah.
I don't. Now I violated that already, but not entirely. Well, I took a gig.
Thank you for being here, by the way.
Yeah. I got a gig coming up that I wish I hadn't taken, but it's not that. There were circumstances involved.
At sea or on land?
Land. But at any rate, I want to be happy coming down the home stretch.
Sure.
And that applies to comedy and personal. And that also requires that I not get upset at things that have nothing to do with me and that I can't control. Now, I love comedy so much that I will be very analytical about certain.
Yeah.
But I don't. It doesn't go past that. I'm perfectly willing these days to be puzzled. If somebody wants to puzzle me with their approach to comedy, that's fine. Has nothing. I can't emphasize enough how important that is. It has nothing to do with me or my act. As long as I don't have to follow them doing 45 minutes of that shit.
Yeah, of course.
Dom Herrera years ago said, I don't remember if I heard him say it or if he, like on a podcast or something, or if he told it to me, because I used to work at the Laugh Factory and I used to work on Dom Herrera's podcast. But he said, he was talking about a young comic who has since disappeared. He was a young comic at the time. I'll tell you guys after who it was. But he used to murder. He would kill. And Dom was sitting upstairs with another older comic. I forget who it was. And the guy was like, I don't get it. I don't get what he's doing. And Dom said, it doesn't matter if you get it. They get it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you have to, you know what? You have to concede the fact that they get laughs. You have to
just because it's not the way you like getting laughs doesn't mean that it's wrong. The only way I think it's wrong is when it's unoriginal. When we as comics can go, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Then you go, this audience is idiots. How have you not heard that before?
Yeah.
Have you not seen this?
Yeah.
That's what bothers me personally.
Yeah, but audiences are so
fickle. You can't trust them.
They just want to laugh.
Yeah.
And they don't care whether they've heard it. And that's the thing. If they find that person funny, doesn't matter whether they.
Yeah, sometimes they want to hear the same joke, but from a new likable face.
Yeah.
That's true.
It doesn't matter to them. Audiences are great. And audiences, comics offstage should be like audiences.
Yeah.
Which is very.
Open and accepting.
Yeah, they just want to laugh. So, derivative material can make you crazy. Yeah. It can make you crazy if you just spent all day trying to write an original joke.
Oh my God!
And you didn't get there.
And you got close.
You didn't get there.
You got 99% of the way, which is the same thing as getting 0% of the way.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I bring it up from these two angles. You taught me a lot, inadvertently and directly. And it made me realize that like comedy, we present it like this lone wolf thing. You do it by it's very community oriented.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a team sport that is disguised as a solo endeavor. And that means one of two things, right? Comedy in itself, the art form, is something that we need each other to be like, hey, what do you think of this? Hey, how do you know what I mean? Besides just what the crowd laughs at. But we also need each other for upward mobility.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
95% of all your gigs come from other comics. 95%.
Particularly at the
all your
beginning.
recommendations.
Yeah.
I mean, but even, of course, particularly at the beginning, but even up until you're a huge commodity, people will always ask, like, how did that happen? How did you get this? You got to ask another comic. You got to ask, because sometimes agents and managers don't know. They're not.
Mention my name.
Exactly.
Do you mind mentioning my name to this booker?
Exactly.
Or this manager, so.
And it's a lesson that basically led me to the conclusion that, like, we have to be accepting of a lot of different people that are like, your comedy doesn't get along with my comedy and we don't whatever, but funny is funny.
Yeah.
And we can describe the mechanisms of tension and release together, and we can work on stuff. And that kind of blew my mind, because I thought that comedy was supposed to be, when I first started as a fan, I was like, oh, we find our little niches and we're all sequestered and we just do our thing and we might see each other when we have to.
Yeah.
But the reality is, like, it's all kind of, we're all running a grift, if you will, a bit of a scam, and we need each other's perspective on it to keep it honest. Otherwise, it just becomes the business side of it. It just becomes the scam fully, and the art, whatever there might be, gets lost.
That's why I'm all in favor of clicks.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I tell people, clicks, because people get real angry about this click and that
it's
click.
a social, whatever. You're like, well, they keep each other honest.
You know what clicks are?
Yeah.
They're friends that get along.
Yeah. It's an in-group
a
that's
clique
already...
is a group of friends that you're not a part of.
Yeah.
And I tell people, cliques are fine. Just make sure you don't have anybody unfunny in the clique, that you're dragging this dead weight to gigs.
I'll say this. I think that's an impossibility nowadays. I think nowadays, because of the nature of commodity, you always have a guy like, hey, he's good at video editing or podcast producing or whatever, but don't watch his act too much or you'll hate this guy. I think that's a weird, but also natural concession that we've had to make, and we don't really talk about that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of groups where you go, these 8 guys are hilarious, and then they have just like Rob Schneider with them too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're like, well, how did this guy sneak into the...
Yeah. Well, you know what? Comics are going to be, you can take that very analytical approach to making up a clique. But we're also, he's such a good buddy.
No, you're right.
To me. And we're going to make that concession. So for me to say, make sure there's only funny people in your clique, well, that's all well and good to say. But, geez, he bought me breakfast when I was...
Yeah. 90% of the sentences I start when talking about other comics are, I love him, but...
Yeah. He had a great thing.
And T. Sean Shannon used to say, when we start a nice guy club.
Yeah.
Because that's how the sentence always starts.
When I start my comedy club for nice guys, he's getting booked all the time.
He's a nice guy.
But until then, clubs are for funny people.
Yeah.
Wait, whose club was that?
This was T. Sean Shannon. He was a writer.
That is funny.
It's a great name, too. He was a writer for both SNL and In Living Color.
And The Tonight Show.
And I believe in 1999 or 2000, it was between him and Adam McKay to become the head writer of SNL.
Really?
Yeah. And McKay got it.
He was there probably 7 years, something like that. He was there a while.
He was there for a while.
Yeah.
He's one of the nicest, funniest.
Oh, he's so funny.
So bizarrely funny and so accessible for a guy that did all those things. He was a Houston guy.
Oh, yeah. And let me give a brief shout out, as they say, to T. Sean's Shannon brother Charlie.
Yes, Charlie.
Who has since died. Gosh, he was a great guy and very funny.
Incredibly funny.
The whole family.
Yeah.
The whole family.
Houston has a weird, for being sort of a flyover city, not necessarily considered a ton. I always say, we have a massive, massive comedy lineage. We've contributed a lot to the cultural milieu of comedy. Yeah. We have some of the best dead comedians, I think, of any city. Houston comics will reap benefits
from that history.
Still. It was such a big city. It was such a big scene and had so much upward mobility. You left L.A. in the 80s and moved to Houston.
Yeah.
Right? What, it was 81, 82, something like that?
September of 81. friends called me up, Jimmy and
Yeah.
Bill
Yeah.
and Riley Barber called me up and told me, because L.A., I was connected to the Comedy Store, spots would come and go.
Everywhere else, they were kind of.
They would come and go, and it was very frustrating.
Did you ever feel like you kind of were established in the scene here, or it was always like loose footing? You never knew where you stood in LA.
Oh, I never knew where I stood, and that was entirely because of Mitzi Shore's attitude about comics and booking comics.
Yeah,
I was a hero for a couple of weeks, and then I was
Who?
I didn't exist.
What?
Yeah.
Who?
For a couple of weeks. Very frustrating. But then the trio I mentioned called me up one day and said, "There's nothing but stage time in Houston for you. Yeah, if nothing else, you can work the workshop."
Well, it's an interesting thing to see now. There's the second wave since the pandemic of people being like, hey, there's a lot of stage time in Texas. And it's very different than the 80s, obviously. It's completely, there's a political dynamic, there's a social and cultural dynamic or whatever. But basically, comedy will always do this arbitrage of like, we get too many people in a scene chasing these opportunities, and then we go, hey, Delaware's wide open. Or what, you know what I mean? Like, you start finding the loose little places because it's a function of both economy and stage time.
Yeah, you need to do a little investigating out there, kids. I wish I had known in late 77, I moved to Los Angeles from Virginia because I only knew my choices were either New York or Los Angeles.
And you're originally from North Carolina, right?
No, Virginia.
Oh, Virginia. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Virginia. If I had done a little bit of investigating, I might have come to Houston because their scene was just getting started, and it would have been a lot more acceptable of a stranger from another state.
Interesting.
Than now, L.A., I say that, but L.A. initially right off the bat accepted me at the Comedy Store. But then, after the initial flush of good fortune, then it started becoming erratic.
Did you get in on one audition? Do you remember it?
Yeah, I remember exactly. I came out to L.A. because I had heard about the Comedy Store.
Of course.
And Monday night I knew was open mic, potluck night is what they call it. So knowing nothing, I went up, and the first of several instances of good fortune, or as Ron Schock would say, blessings. I would say, geez, I got lucky. No, you're blessed. You're not lucky, you're blessed. So I got a good spot at my very first Monday night, had a good set. Robert Aguayo and Danny Moore were running it at the time. Come back next week. Well, I thought, okay, that's great. They like my set. I'm going to come back next week. What they didn't tell me, and what I didn't know until afterwards, was next week meant I was auditioning for Mitzi. Every Monday night, Mitzi would set aside a certain time slot. She'd look at new comics that Danny and Robert recommended.
And it was still 3 minutes back then, too?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, it probably couldn't have been more than 5, I'm sure. So I didn't know that's what I was doing, that I was auditioning for
and that helped in a way, right? Probably took the pressure off.
Probably. Though I've always been pretty good under pressure.
Yeah.
But at any rate, what happened was, I'm told, that Mitzi would have her seat in the booth to watch the comics, and other comics would come over to talk to her.
Yeah.
I think some of it might have been gamemanship to distract her.
Oh, of course.
And some of it was, I need to talk to Mitzi, and I can't get an appointment. So there was that aspect of it. But she'd be distracted. Well, I'm told what happened, and he doesn't remember this, but I was told what happened was Mike Binder went over, sat down next to her, and made her pay attention.
That's an important detail, because that over and over and over again, whether it's through Mitzi or other, that is time and time again what people say. This is the biggest difference maker.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I mean, Louis C.K. talks about it in New York, where he's like, the NBC people would come and look at people, but they would be talking amongst themselves until someone like David Spade would be like, hey, this guy's really funny. You should watch. That's always the case. It's not the booker's fault. They watch so much comedy, like you said. It ages you.
Yeah.
So until someone comes along and you go, hey, you should turn your brain on for this. You might not watch it as intently.
Yeah. And to bring it somewhat full circle, this past Monday, I did Mike's show at the Laugh Factory.
At the Laugh Factory, yeah.
So, and he says he doesn't remember that, but I was told that very specifically, that he
So that was the first time in 44 years you performed in LA, basically.
Yeah, I left. Things got a little muddled in my private life. Muddled is one of my euphemisms for women. Things got a little muddled, and I came back. Damn. I went to L.A. I went to Houston in '81, and I came back to L.A. maybe around '91, '92, but I wasn't performing anywhere. So I guess the last time I performed in L.A. was probably 76, 77.
God damn.
I don't know how many spots I was getting when I left. Probably not a lot, because that's why I left. I mean, if they had made this suggestion in a week where I got several spots, I'm the hottest comic. I'm the hottest comic in the city now.
That's still how it is. I'm in development now, which just means like a non-paid regular.
Yeah.
And some days, some weeks you'll get 2 spots. Sometimes you don't get spots for weeks, and you're like, it changes your whole perception of yourself.
Oh yeah.
It's so, It's so stupid.
It is, and it's brutal. And I was a great. Zide.
Of course.
I was out in New York. I did The View, and then I went down and did the
Cellar.
The Cellar 2 times. Had 2 great shows, and the lady told me anytime you're in New York, you can go on here. But I had dinner with Zide and Joffer and Ashton one night, and Zide was telling me, some weeks I get spots,
some weeks not,
I don't, and you could hear the frustration. And that's exactly what I went through with Mitzi. And I just gave her too much power, and it was just brutal.
Which is, I think, what the incentive of that place is, right? Is to be like, hey, how can every comedian give us a little bit more power than we sort of deserve? Because it creates an order.
Yeah.
It makes everybody be like, okay, I'm doing my spot. I'm not going over by a minute. I'm not going, you know what I mean? Like, comics need some sort of rules and whatever.
Oh, absolutely.
But the amount of space that these bookers can occupy in our heads is insane.
Yeah. But with me in the Comedy Cellar now, I don't have to call in. I'll call them up and say, I'm going to be in town this week.
Sure.
Or when's the next time I can get on? I'll come into time that week.
Well, we need to get you back in that relationship with the store, because I mean,
maybe with the factory, the president of I'm playing the Covina.
That's right, this weekend. This
weekend, and I met the president of the David.
Oh, that's awesome,
David. In fact, I think I still have his card. But so maybe I'm in with the factory now.
That's fantastic.
Here's my one. I finally got, after 47 years, a cool show business story.
No, you've many.
At the Laugh Factory. Second night, I'm doing the Laugh Factory. This time around, they have about 4 rooms. And I'm at Village Underground. So I'm going to be about third one on that night. I go to the back of the room where the comics hang out, sitting there's a couch and a table. So I go in half hour early, as is my habit, and I have a seat. And coming in, maybe 5 minutes later, just comes in, takes a seat right on the couch next to me, Quentin Tarantino.
Ooh, Dr. Feet stuff.
Wearing a cast on his right arm, and I asked him what happened, and just a regular guy talking. He did cop an attitude. I'm Quentin Tarantino. Who are you
he's
again?
Super normal.
He just knew I was a comic because I was sitting where comics sit, and he's in there all the time, as it turns out. When he's in New York, he stays around the corner from the cellar. Loves the place. So that's Tarantino sitting there. I go up, have a killer set. I come back, and as I'm headed back towards the table, Tarantino stands up and gives me a personal standing ovation. Now, I will, from time to time, brag on myself, but not too often. But I'm sorry, that's just too fucking cool.
That's a cool one.
That's just too fucking cool.
That's a fucking great one.
Yeah.
The Pulp Fiction guys, like, this is good.
Stood up and applauded.
I love
and told
that.
me,
Did you sign his cast?
Did you sign his cast?
Black Jesus.
Oh, I did. No, I didn't. Didn't sign a cast. Didn't ask for a selfie.
Yeah.
It's always so tempting, when you meet somebody that you admire that much, lean over and go, Jackie Brown, and to see what he says, because that might be my favorite Tarantino film.
I mean, but you're also an actor too. Like you were a classically trained actor.
I think that was a great thing, and that kind of governs my attitude. I met Bill Murray not that long ago at the Jamestown Comedy Festival, but you're a pro, Mr. Tarantino. I'm a pro. I'm not going to treat you like a hero. I'm not going to treat you like, even though I am a fan, I'm not going to go all fanboy on you. And I think that was his attitude towards me, though he didn't know how good I was. He just knew I was a comic.
Yeah.
In other words, he's a professional too.
Yeah.
So that was and so it was immediately comfortable between the two of us. So that was great.
That's a great feeling.
Yeah, and that's the way it ought to be. I wouldn't mock somebody because everybody else. I know a lot of people that would ask for a selfie.
Attell, whenever I'm at the cellar, he always introduces me to huge celebrities there with the same, like, under the guise of like, you guys are just two comics, you know each other, right? Or whatever, you know what I mean? And I'm always like, stop doing that. I just want to meet the manager here. I just want to meet the booker. And he's like, I can't introduce you to the booker. I don't want to risk my spots. But then we'll turn a corner. He's like, Amy Schumer, you know Babu, right? You guys hang out. And I'm like, no, it is very, when a comedy club doesn't have a green room, it creates a sense of camaraderie. And fellowship, kind of like you don't really get it in other places. Everywhere else, it's you're in the green room or you're out.
Yeah, but that's a good point because like at the cellar, we're all hanging out.
You're hanging
together.
out on the sidewalk or in a hallway or in a corner.
We're all being treated the same way.
Literally,
that's good. Green room, you can, and you ought to actually, but you ought to establish rules.
Oh, yeah.
About the green room, who could come in.
I owe you an apology from 10 years ago or whatever. I constantly would smoke weed or cigarettes in the secret group green room without knowing that you were on the show afterwards or whatever. And then I would like go home and see like a Facebook message like, which one of you rapscallions is smoking in there?
I can't. Cigarettes I can deal with.
I would never do it if I knew it was you. Yeah. Part of it was like I wanted to openly disrespect the club because they didn't pay me enough or something. You know what I mean? So I was like, fine, here's how I get my comeuppance.
Yeah, I don't pot, and I used to smoke a lot of pot, but of course not anymore. And cigarettes I don't. And I used to smoke
disgusting
cigarettes.
to smoke them indoors. It's gross.
Well,
weed now will change your brain chemistry too. It's not even.
Yeah, the weed you smoked back then was like a plant. Now it's like a super drug.
Yeah,
like.
Yeah, that's what I'm told. That it's.
Yeah, I feel wind that isn't there when I get too high.
Like, yeah. It's like microdosing schizophrenia. Now. It's not fun.
Yeah.
I don't know why I do it every 30 minutes, but I have to.
So I've whined about it on.
But it's a very. Most of the time, if some comics are complaining about something in the green room, I'm like, whatever, who cares, get out. But I'm like, this is like, I'm totally in the wrong here.
Yeah.
I'm fucking up entirely. And if I knew it was you or anybody that was like, I have asthma or something or whatever, I'm like, I wouldn't do this. This was just rebelliousness against a comedy
understandable.
club.
Yeah, but green rooms, your buddies can't come in here.
No.
If you're not, and I've never objected loudly or even out loud to it. But if you're a comic, but you're not on the show, if it's a small...
You know what you're doing. You're in there trying to network. You're trying to make yourself feel as if you should be a part of this show. You're posturing. You're doing something. Yeah. And it's hard to turn those people down because you're like, look, you're part of your journey and whatever.
Yeah.
But also get the fuck out.
And I've never thrown people out. I've never thrown anybody out. I've frowned at relatives.
Yeah.
In the green room. Just don't. There's a couple of small green rooms. We can't.
The worst was, you remember in Addison, the Dallas Improv, for the longest time, the green room was also the office for the managers. And you're like, guys, the one thing I'm trying to do is talk shit about you.
Yeah.
The staff here. And you can't be in my space.
The green room at the Riot.
That's a good one.
Yeah. What constitutes the green room?
It's half green room, half office, kind of.
Office, so.
But at least they have a door for that tiny little office area.
There's very rarely business being done.
Of course, yeah.
The only time going on, somebody's operating. I guess there might be doing.
They're always watching the videos.
Yeah, that's usually the case. So
speaking of green room, I don't know. This wasn't a green room thing. You told me a very, very funny anecdote. You used to work the phones at the Comedy Store.
Oh, I did. Oh my.
So you were a door guy, or that was just a like an office kind of style position?
I did both.
Did both?
I did. I was a doorman at the Comedy Store in Westwood.
And when it had 2 locations.
Yeah, I was never a doorman at the Sunset
Hollywood
location,
one.
but I did work up in the office.
You worked in the phones
Yeah.
And you told me truly one of the most bizarre stories about
I know where you're going.
about a young comedian named Andy Kaufman.
Yeah.
Calling in, trying to get tickets to his own show, I believe, or something.
No, here's what. 2 different things happened. One time, and it was a Saturday afternoon, and I was working phones on Saturday because Kaufman was
his alter ego.
Tony Clifton.
Tony
was
Clifton
in the main room
yeah.
that week, and so calls were coming in. 2 things about that. I'm up in the office Saturday afternoon. There was nobody else around. Kaufman comes up. Oh, okay. Hey, Andy, how's it going? I'm going fine. And he goes, and it's just us.
It's
just
him
us.
and Andy.
He goes, who's here this weekend? And okay. I don't think I said no out loud, but
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking. And I said, well, Tony Clifton's here this weekend, Andy. And he goes, oh, I love Tony Clifton. I wish I was in town to see him. Well, maybe he'll be back another time.
It's just frustrating him.
Yeah.
He's like, are we doing a bit? Are we?
Yeah, it's so weird. And the other thing was he had people, you were under strict instructions, of course, not to tell people calling in for tickets that it's Andy Kaufman doing Tony Clifton. It's Tony Clifton and only Tony Clifton. And you're under no circumstances are you to tell anybody
that
it's
these two,
Andy
yeah.
Kaufman. Well, I know this was what was going on because I was on the phones. People would call up and try to trick you
To get you
or
to
get
break,
you
yeah.
to telling them that it's Andy Kaufman because they get real insistent, and you just tell them no.
It's Mr. Tony Clifton.
Tony Clifton.
He's
Yeah.
he's racist. Mr.
So-
Kaufman is not.
Yeah. So, yeah, but
That would be like if today Adam Ray was like, "Oh, I wish I could see Dr. Phil, but I'm always out of town."
yeah.
Just constantly
Yeah.
doing the.
Yeah, so that was just weird. But it's Andy Kaufman.
That time, I've asked you a lot about it, and you've been really, really generous with those stories, and because to me, as a fan of comedy history, I'm like, that's one of the most important times in stand-up comedy's entire reign, right? Is these formative years at the store where basically the cultural mores and the norms of stand-up are basically being forged in real time in front of us. And this might be a sensitive thing too if you don't want to talk about it, but you were there for the strike.
I was. And I mean, this happened maybe 3 or 4 months after
After you got passed.
yeah.
So it was really extremely
man.
sensitive.
Yeah, well, it was for me, and here was the dilemma I had. I was so grateful to Mitzi that I felt that loyalty to go on her stage while the strike was going. I felt very strongly that I owed her, and it felt disloyal not to, but I didn't because I couldn't cross a picket line of comics.
Really?
I just couldn't do it. I couldn't cross a picket line. Excuse me, Mr. Letterman, I got to get in the front door.
I got to get in there and get my
do a
15
set
minutes.
in front of what was probably most nights, maybe 12 people.
Oh, that's right, because it was also empty.
Yeah, it was. People weren't crossing the picket lines, and I just couldn't do it. So I did neither.
Whoa.
And I was answering phones up there beforehand, and then when the place reopened, I got a job answering phone. And what happened? Here's a grim story. What happened was that Mitzi's initial attitude was, well, if I'm going to pay these assholes, I'm only going to put up good comics. I'm not going to give new comics.
Yeah, I'm not going to waste.
Yeah, I'm not going to pay them money. They're not good enough to get. Now, eventually that attitude softened. But initially, I wasn't getting any spots.
Sure.
All I was doing is answering phones, and I wasn't getting any spots at all. And that was the only reason I was out there. And I wasn't connected to any other club. I was miserable. I was absolutely depressed about it. So when Steve Lebetka committed suicide,
Right off the
cops came into the Comedy Store offices where I usually worked. I wasn't working that day. They came into the offices and they said, one of your comics just jumped off the building. And Chrissy Francis, who was one of the managers, she said she immediately thought it was me.
Whoa!
Because that's how depressed.
Because that was the indicator of like.
Yeah, that's how depressed.
So you were being frozen out by the store for basically. I mean, nothing really. You didn't do anything.
I was new. That's what I did.
You were just new.
I wasn't good.
But did the comics also see you as a scab for working there during the thing, or they didn't?
If they did, they didn't.
They didn't say anything.
They didn't indicate that.
Because to be a young comic, how old do you think you were at that time?
Oh, I was 27.
Oh my God! To be a
28.
27-year-old comic, as like literally comedy history is happening against you. The most important booker in comedy is becoming a union buster.
Yeah.
And people that have nothing in common anymore besides being famous are coming together and being like, what are we going to do to make this union work? What are we going to, you know what I mean? Like, that's got to be an exhausting time mentally.
Yeah, because I just didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do.
You're focusing on your own career.
Yeah,
you're trying to like.
And I'm just starting, and I barely know what I'm doing. And if stage time was beyond precious. So I just didn't.
But did you feel the significance? Did you feel the significance of that moment, of that time where you're like, hey, this is something bizarre? Like looking back now, that was when spot pay was basically established.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You could tell something important.
Really?
Was happening.
Oh.
Now, again, at some point, Mitzi lightened up and started getting. Well, did she lighten up? I think she's just started giving me low paying.
I see.
Gigs. That's what would happen. And I never.
Was the belly room even open at that point?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think maybe at that point it was still co-ed, so to speak. At some point it became entirely
women.
This is my other cool show business story. I say I don't brag on myself. I'll brag on myself here. One time when Richard Pryor was playing the Comedy Store, packed every night, 2 shows every night. People that want to see the second show would show up real early. And so they would guide them towards the belly room. And there'd be a show up there for the people that were waiting to see Pryor on the second show. So one night I'm up there in front of his audience, absolutely killing. Pryor's downstairs with John Witherspoon, who I got to open for about 5 times. Feature 5 times at the Houston Improv. We got along great.
Great guy.
He's downstairs with Pryor, and Pryor's going, who's getting all those fucking laughs up there? And John said, let's go see. And so they went up and watched my act for a while, and then they go back downstairs. I finish up, go back downstairs, and Witherspoon introduced me to Pryor.
Whoa!
And he goes, Richard, this is the guy that was getting all those
that's fucking cool.
Laughs upstairs.
Wow.
And I go, and Pryor goes, you're very funny.
Hey, brother, you're pretty good for an old white man.
And that's about as far as I didn't. I meant to tell. I did tell him this, I think. When he first broke out of his Ed Sullivan persona into what he became.
Yeah, the jive thing.
He said only 3 clubs would book him in the country.
What?
One of them was the Comedy Cellar in, the Cellar Door. The Cellar Door,
yeah, because the Cellar opened in 82.
Yeah, the Cellar Door in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
Right across the river where we were living in Northern Virginia. And I saw him there 3 times in 9 months. Because I went to see him because I thought he was funny on the Ed Sullivan Show.
But then he's just
then I saw that.
completely
Oh my
switched
gosh, this is.
Did you feel like a little bit of tricked by the marketing? You're like, hey, I came here for a clean cut.
Not at all.
No?
Not at all. Because it was just so funny right off the bat.
That's awesome.
And I saw him. He was doing, and I don't know how many in the intervening almost 50 years, how many great shows I've seen. That's still the funniest show. It sat maybe 200 people, and he was doing what became the album, the developing material. And I have never heard such laughs in my life. Never heard such. It was a small room. The stage was maybe this wide.
No shit.
And not this high off the floor. And it was wonderful. And I told him that I had seen him at the Cellar Door, and he was impressed to hear that. 3 shows in 9 months, 3 different dates. The first 2 ladies were absolutely horrified. absolutely horrified. The third lady, the lovely Pam Ryan, just roared along with everybody. She just thought it was great. And why I didn't marry Pam Ryan, that's, what's the opposite of a red flag? That was indicative.
Has that become the only
And I
regret
think that's
for you?
the only date we ever went out on.
Oh.
We had a great time, and she had a great time. But boy, that was wonderful. The cellar door.
Well, honestly, it's hard to follow up Richard Pryor first date. You're like, we should just end it there. That's not going to get any better.
That might have been a wise. That might have been a wise move on my.
What are we
part.
going to see? More
Just-
Saul after this?
yeah.
It's not going down.
Again, more muddle.
Yeah.
In my life.
Do you need to take a break, by the way, or anything?
No.
This-
So that was my other cool, Richard Pryor. So I can't remember. That obviously was before the women took over before they didn't take it over so much as Mitzi gave them
The belly room.
the belly room. But that was a strong workplace.
You've had basically a litany of like cool show business. You know what I mean? Like if the last, let's say 5-6 years of meteoric success didn't happen, you still had one of the coolest resumes in terms of just like pound for pound cool, what you got to do.
Yeah. Again, it's you got the
Writing for Billy Crystal and opening for Ray Charles.
Oh, Ray Charles. There's a fuck up. There's a fuck up. There's a Hall of Fame fuck up. I'm at Rockefeller's.
Which is a historic venue in Houston that was a bank that Bonnie and Clyde robbed.
Yeah.
And
I think I've heard of this place. Yeah.
It's
now
Washington and where is it?
Montrose or Studemont.
Maybe.
No. Sorry. Yeah. I think that's it.
And they used to have great shows there.
The green room is like in the bank vault. You
Yeah.
feel like insane.
Really?
Oh, I opened for Three Dog Night one time, and the Mamas and the Papas, and War, was it War?
War?
Yeah, I think so.
So fucking
anyway,
Three Dog Night.
I'm opening for Ray Charles. Killed, and this is I'm drinking, and which is a crucial part of the story. Killed in front of. So I go off. I watch Ray Charles. Maybe the first album I ever bought in my life was a Ray Charles album. Loved Ray Charles. Who doesn't?
Of course.
So I'm watching Ray Charles. It's a fairly small stage, so it wasn't a big band behind him, but he did have the Raylettes. Anyway, I'm sitting at the bar drinking, and his manager comes out and he said, "Mr. Charles heard your act, loves your act. He wants to meet you, but he not between shows. I'll introduce you after the second show."
yeah.
And I said, "I'm going to meet Ray Charles. Holy mackerel. But you know what? I can drink cheaper at the Comedy Workshop
Just run across the street.
than I can at Rockefeller's. So I'll go because obviously they were charging me drinks.
Yeah.
Plus, I want to go back and brag to the guys that I just
Hey.
killed in front of Ray
Who
Charles.
you guys working with?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can probably anticipate the punchline to this. I got drunk at the workshop. Never made it back to Rockefeller. Never made it back to Rockefeller. Never made it back to Rockefeller. And who knows, Ray Charles saying, "Who's that asshole that's giving me the high hat?"
You've been the first guy to stand him up on accident.
But now, why that didn't signify a bottom?
Yeah.
Drunks, you hit a high bottom. And there's always another one. People, non-drinkers will think, well, that's got to be a high. That's got to be a high bottom. It can't get any worse than that.
No, you'll find one, yeah.
Hold my beer. Don't drink it. Don't drink my beer. Hold it for a second and give me back that beer when I hit yet another bottom. Which, that should have told me. You drank yourself out of an opportunity to meet Ray Charles, who wanted to meet you.
Yeah.
And why that didn't constitute a bottom. But I wasn't anywhere near done yet. Yeah.
That helped me a lot, by the way. When I first got started, I was too young to be in the bars. I was 18 years old when I was doing stand-up, and I was already 3 years sober.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't fit in at all with these fuck-ups. Like, this is the wrong place for me to be. I'm making everyone nervous just by existing. And then Andy was sober, and I was like, I don't think you were even going to meetings or any of that kind of stuff or whatever
I
at the
probably
time.
stopped. I went to meetings for about 6 years or so. Big help.
But
Stopped
I was just
going.
able to talk to one other guy, because actually the guy that brought me into stand-up, Mike Marlar, I don't know if you remember him. He was a huge fuck up, but he was sober, and I remember him being like, well, shit, if you can do this when you're like a crazy person or whatever, I can try this stuff out. But it was, everybody that was young and partying or whatever, they almost got uncomfortable finding out someone else didn't drink.
Yeah.
You were ruining the party just by existing.
That's how non-weed smokers are now. Like, because I don't smoke pot in public. If you don't, people are like, what?
What?
Yeah.
Especially in California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. I feel like an outcast, being like, oh, I'm good, thank you.
I have always been very comfortable being by myself. So when I quit drinking, I had no problem leaving the party.
Yeah.
Once I finished my set, which is still pretty much my habit. I don't anymore. I don't worry about missing some great story.
You don't miss the stories, but as a comic, do you ever worry that you miss some networking thing, or you're like, maybe...
Yeah.
Because that was my problem with Houston. I was like, I didn't come here to be friends with you guys. I wanted to work, and all you guys want to do is socialize.
Yeah. I didn't worry about it a lot, but I acknowledged that it was possible I may be missing out on an important contact.
Well, whatever. You work twice as hard on the material.
I still had the same attitude about important contact. Even if I was there, I would have left and then later thought, you know what? I really could have introduced myself. So,
I have the opposite problem. Sometimes I'm like, I should not have talked to that person. I just upset them right before they went on stage for some reason.
As far as that goes, and this is an easy attitude, makes it easy to justify past mistakes. But I really do believe things happen when they're supposed to happen. You don't meet this, a big producer, say the guy that books the Montreal Comedy Festival was there at the club, and he was there one night at the last stop, and I knew he was there, and I knew who he was, and I just went home without thinking. And when I got home, I thought, well, it wouldn't have hurt.
Steel.
But, it happens when So if you don't meet this guy, you'll meet somebody else.
And for you, that didn't come from a place of not being ambitious, because you are incredibly ambitious. You have motivation and you have governance and whatever. But I do think a part of it came from, like, you knew exactly what you wanted, and there's a comfort in being like, I want to play these rooms. I want to play smaller rooms. I don't really like travel. Like, you knew yourself even before there was circumstances for it,
That really comes in handy when it came to the act. What type of act? I knew exactly from the beginning, what type of act I wanted to do. I wanted to do jokes.
Yeah.
Setup, punchline, tag. So I've been completely impervious to trends or different styles. Yeah, it just doesn't affect me.
Impervious to trends, by the way, is the best way to phrase that.
Yeah, I just doesn't. At one point, I started doing crowd work, but this was before crowd work.
I know. I was watching.
Yeah. So, but that's because I in my drunkenness, I'd wake up hungover and I stopped writing. I just stopped writing because I was just too. So I got bored with my act, so I started working with the.
Whatever was in front of you.
Yeah, I just started working with the crowd.
But I'll take a liberty.
Now I abhor. It's almost fair to say I abhor.
Yeah, that's true too. But I'll take a liberty and say you have three things, right? Like crowd work, and table comedy is different. You also have table comedy as an incredible skill, but you have a few things that you can do, whether it's drawing attention to the set list, crowd work, whatever it might be, that makes the room present again, and then you buy yourself another 15 minutes of one-liners.
Yeah.
It was one of the first genius subtle things. You never said it explicitly, but watching you every night, I'm like, oh, he has a moment where he senses their attention going away, and then he's like, watch this shit, and then they're already back in. They're whatever he's doing,
And if you're doing a 45-minute set
That's
as
important.
a headliner, you just feel like a break.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, it's good. You don't want to go too far. You don't want to turn it into even 5 minutes of crowd work, because now the crowd thinks.
Now it's the crowd work portion.
Yeah. So you don't want to do that. Plus, with crowd work, getting laughs with material is so much harder than crowd work.
Yeah.
I take more pleasure in jokes getting laughs than I do in bouncing lines off an out-of-towner.
Yeah. Especially today's crowds, it's so fucking easy to say just some stupid shit.
Yeah.
I was doing a show in a city called Tehachapi. It's an hour north of here. Sort of like California country. It's like a little bit of farmland. It was at a brewery, and there was a train that rolled by behind the show, and you could hear it in the showroom. And there was like some cowboys up front, and I just went, "The gay train, all aboard," and that was better than any joke I wrote that night, because they were like cowboy guys. They thought that was the funniest shit.
Yeah. Well, it's a good skill to have, obviously, and obviously it comes in handy quite often. One of those times is when that night you're just fucking bored with your act.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You just don't want to do your act anymore, or you don't want to do your act that night. So, but for the most part, material's more impressive. It's harder to do.
Absolutely.
So way bigger personal payoff when you get the laugh there.
Yeah, there's a satisfaction with it, and we were talking earlier about maybe being resentful about certain comics getting certain kinds of laughs. Well, I could work myself into a frenzy over crowd work comics.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's just too fucking easy.
Well, you know what? I bring it up because it's so universal. I worked for a lot of people, writing for them or helping with people's acts. And one night I was at the Improv and I was working with somebody, and they were destroying. They had an incredible set. I won't say who it was, but right after them, Andrew Schultz followed them. And, he did his horrible impression of stand-up. And the person that I was working with, who's an incredible funny headliner and could just focus on themselves and doesn't have to worry about what other comics are doing, they're like, see, that ruins what I do, I feel like. Because this same crowd, who I thought was like coming with me on this complex journey of whatever, they also love his bullshit just as much. And I'm like, it doesn't ruin it. It makes it, it's a reference point almost, where you're like, what we do is not that special. And then it's also lubricated by 2 drinks. And, so there's a lot of reasons why they kind of like all what they like. But it was funny to see I was like, I thought I say stuff like that out of jealousy or bitterness, but a lot of people have that thing where you can't turn your brain off. You can't turn the part of your brain that does criticism.
No, but again, how much attention are you going to
Exactly, yeah. You can choose what you feed it.
I've had that conversation who said, this person getting laughs just negates the laugh.
Right? Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
It doesn't. First of all, again, audiences have such a wide range of what they'll laugh at.
Yeah.
There's some niche audiences that, but for the most part, that's what they laugh. And
it's involuntary.
When I'm on stage, it's my audience. It's not his audience or her audience anymore. It's my audience.
Yeah.
And I like my act a lot. If I get laughs, it's because it's funny, it's not negated.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not negated. Yeah. It's so, but you can make yourself.
You can poison yourself with other people's life. You can just poison your own happiness.
All any of us ought to do under those circumstances is catch the eye of another comic in the room, and you just go,
yeah.
That's and that ought to suffice. That ought to suffice. Just I look over at Radu and you go back.
I do love that feeling when you have the opposite, where you're watching someone that you really enjoy, and you and another comic, you're like, God, this is fucking good. This is my favorite. Like this, I can't. I love hating on something with another person. I also love being blown away by something.
Yeah.
Comedy does have that almost magic-like quality where you're like, wow, this can really impact emotions for some reason.
Yeah, it's great when you see somebody that's so funny that you just sit back and you relax and enjoy the fact that they're funny.
Yeah.
You're not analyzing.
Is there anyone that's happened like that you off the top of your head in the last, let's say 10 years or whatever, whether they're Houston, national, someone that you're just like, man, I enjoy this person so much I forgot all my other opinions about them?
Bill Burr makes me laugh to the point I can watch. I'll go seek out certain bits.
Yeah.
Of his just because I enjoy them so much.
He was even good during the pandemic. I went and watched him like May 2020 at an outdoor show in Texas or whatever. And I was like, these are the circumstances where no laughter will be happening because everybody's upset and weird and whatever. And his opener sucked, but man, he was fantastic and of the moment. And he didn't even record any of that stuff.
Yeah. I get a kick out of Bill Burr.
Yeah. Young guy, up and coming.
Yeah. Anybody else? I'm trying to think. You know, I don't watch as much stand-up as I should for a couple of reasons. One, I mean, I don't want to be influenced.
Of course.
Not that I can be influenced, but I don't want to know.
Subconsciously, you don't want to.
I just don't want to know what anybody else. Yeah, I become more and more selfish, narcissistic, narrow-minded.
No, protective.
Yeah.
Because you've watched so much already.
Yeah.
You think about this. You've watched tons of live stand-up. You've watched tons of professionally recorded stand-up. And you've watched more comedy movies than anyone I know.
Yeah. I may be played out as far as watching.
You know what I mean? Like,
I may be. And it's where the other problem I have is, and this is probably the same explanation. I'll hear about a comic. I'll go look him or her up on YouTube. I tell you what, they don't get me in the first 47 seconds. I'm gone. I'm gone, and I'm missing out on some good comics.
Yeah.
Because some comics obviously take a leisurely approach to their rhythm, or they tell stories, and maybe the big punchline's not for another 48 seconds. Doesn't matter. I'm gone at the 47-second mark.
So the algorithm has no age limit. That's incredible.
It's truly how it goes. But I've been telling people, I'm like, I believe because there's so many comics now, we need to have a distaste for all comedians until proven otherwise. I think that's how it should start. You know,
I can see that.
Not being mean to anybody
Guilty
or whatever.
until proven innocent.
Basically that. Like, I think you're bad until you prove me wrong.
Yeah. I can see that attitude. Yeah. The problem is, I don't give them a chance to prove me wrong. You know.
I love that.
Yeah. I just get impatient. Here's how narrow-minded I've gotten. If it isn't set up punchline, what are you doing? I'm almost to the point, and this is completely unfair. This is completely wrong. But I'll say I've come to the point to where comics that tell stories, I don't even consider comics anymore. Now we're into TED Talks or something like that.
I've kind of always felt that way, but storytelling, especially if you can't do it's one thing if you're like, I'm a storyteller and I can do, like Ali Sadiq can do set up punch as good as he can do storytelling.
Yeah.
That is not what I consider a criticism. But there are some people I'm like, dude, all you can do is stories and you barely figure out jokes in them. You know what I mean? Like, you're manipulating tension and release in the worst way possible.
I'm almost to the point to where it has to be.
That is a weird thing when somebody's telling a story and they're getting laughs off of what the other person in the story says.
I hate that.
I've always thought that was a weird thing. Like, it'll be like a guy and he goes, and then my dad said, insert punchline. And you're like, but that's your dad's joke.
That's your dad.
You're just repeating
Now,
it.
the only time I think, again, when I say this about certain storytellers, you can make up what other people say.
Sure. You can rewrite it.
Yeah.
And when I tell that to comics sometimes and they go, really? That's a lie. I go, yeah,
the whole thing's a lie.
Writing. Writing is just fun lies that are believable to other people.
Moby Dick didn't actually happen either, you dumb fuck.
He was saying Moby Dick didn't actually
never really happen, that was written.
Yeah, we need to keep in mind when being judgmental, which is to say I need to keep in mind when I'm being judgmental, it's a job, it's a craft.
Yeah.
Your job is to get laughs. Now, you want to get laughs telling stories? You want to make up stories? Do you want to tell two stories? Whatever it takes. Literally whatever it takes. You know what? Crowd work. After all I've said about crowd work, if that's what it takes for you to get laughs, that's why the audience is there. That's why you're being paid. So just, shut up about that person and what they're doing. They're doing their job.
Yeah.
And, we like to think of ourselves as artists, which we are, and we like to think of ourselves as craftsmen, which we are, but we're also a working stiff. We got a job to do.
Yeah.
We got a job to do. You put down your lunch pail, and you go up on stage, and you get laughs. So maybe that's, and I'm kind of there, but maybe not so much. But that's the attitude I'm trying to develop about about comedy in general. It's a job.
This is a discussion I had about 5 months ago with a lot of other Houston comics. One of the things that you impressed upon us was that we don't really have a lot of excuses in comedy because of you.
That's one of the nicest compliments I ever got was from Dale Cheeseman.
Yeah.
And at improv Tuesday night, open mic night, Dale told me, "You're the reason we can't blame the audience."
Exactly. I was about to say, I was like, there's a story I have. Me, you and Gabe went and did a show in Galveston one time. And you know, comics have a tendency to blame the crowd. Oh, that would have been awesome if these people weren't so loud. This wasn't happening, whatever. You know what I mean?
And then somebody goes up and
then Andy goes up, destroys. Sometimes he's like looking at his list. He's like, I got the jokes backwards. He's like, he's telling you that he's not doing well. And you're like, well, this is better than I could have done on accident ever.
Yeah.
And it was a bar that like physically the shape was wrong for comedy. It was bad for music. I played it in music. It was called Bruise Brothers.
Is that the one
On the
show where there was a motorcycle?
Yeah.
gang?
Oh my God. I was about to bring this up.
Yeah, roared
So
by.
I'm bombing. My friend goes up. He's bombing. Andy goes up. He's just destroying immediately. And again, this is against the odds. The circumstances are that nobody should be doing well. Nobody should even be paying attention. It's loud. It's shitty. And Andy's killing for 10 to 12 minutes. And then the unthinkable happens. After you've overcome the inside of the bar, the outside of the bar gets so loud because like a gang of motorcycles pulls up and just like revving their shit or whatever.
Oh, it's loud.
And you see Andy for like 30, 40 seconds just stare at them. He's not mad. No emotion. He's waiting. He's calculating. And then he goes, all right, boys, my ride's here. Just the biggest laugh. Nobody's ever made a room laugh that hard, ever. And it cut out years worth of excuses for the future for me because I'm like, it doesn't matter. You just have to be funny. It doesn't matter. You just have to overcome.
You got a job to do. Get laughs.
That's funny. You remember that one too.
Yeah, I remember because it was right the window.
Yeah, it was right by the bar
me.
kept going. We can't close the door.
Yeah.
Another funny thing about that bar, that was one of the first places I played it in a band.
Oh, okay.
When I was like 16, 17. And we're starting to end our show, and we start breaking out into a Red Hot Chili Peppers cover. And the owner comes out from the back and goes, no, we don't pay ASCAP fees. No covers. No covers. Like, I was like, that was the first time I found out about music unions. Yeah. I was like, really? You think someone here in this dingy bar full of 29 underage
It's connected to the Red Hot Chili Peppers?
No, I mean, just you think they're going to call a union in Tennessee and be like, these guys don't pay their $9 fees a year.
Or do you have to pay to cover songs?
As a bar, as a venue, you have to pay license fees to have people do covers in your venue.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. It's why I always go back to the union stuff and I ask questions about unions because I'm like, every other part of show business is heavily unionized. Gaffers have a union. Producers have a union. When you shoot a Netflix special, everybody that works on that thing has a union, except for the comic.
Yeah. Yeah, they ought to have that rule for comics. Every time you do somebody else's
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're funny, but you do that Carlin bit. I got to pay the estate. This is my evolution of thinking because I used to be against joke stealing and whatever, and now I'm like, look, comics don't care, clubs don't care, audiences don't care. Audiences don't give a shit. If you made them laugh, they're like, whoa, howdy. You know what I mean? So realistically, why can't we go the way of the WGA, which is like you get your bits in, even if you're not famous, you get them put somewhere, and then when someone famous does them, you get royalties. Yeah. Now everybody gets paid, and we don't all have to be headliners or whatever mathematical nonsense we're always pushing about, like, we're all going to be famous. You tell an audience member, Robin Williams does that joke too, and they'd go, what?
I've never seen it.
And there are comics, and they're audience members, and I've had them say this to me. They think all comics
share our jokes.
Yeah, they're just like a trough.
Yeah.
Where you just, that night, they don't realize that, ideally, everybody writes their own. I had a friend, you didn't know Jim Patterson, did you?
Oh, the cop? No, that's a diff. Yeah, sorry.
Jim Patterson was a great comic. I think he'll be the third deceased comic we've mentioned so far. He was a great guy. He died.
A lot of deadheads come up on this.
He was flying in to play El Paso. And I won't mention the comic's name, the offender. But he flies in. He's picked up at the airport. The driver, you know, he works at the club in some capacity. He said, "Where are you from?" Jim goes, "Houston." Yeah, I guess it's deep, sad sigh. You're not going to do the Houston act, are you? And what had happened? What had happened was Bill had been in.
Yeah.
And done his act. Guy coming in from Houston a week, 2 weeks, a month later, did
the
Bill's
exact
act.
same.
And so the guy
Really?
thought that
Yeah.
there was a Houston act that everybody from Houston would do.
Yeah.
And he didn't object to the fact that there's a con. He just didn't want to hear.
He's like, I
know. Yeah, you don't do the Houston.
I don't want to hear the jogging thing and the smoking and all that. And you're like, no, that's one guy that.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? Bill Hicks might have one of the greatest comedians of all time, and everyone's like, ooh, that's who I should steal from.
Yeah.
Not even the second shelf. They're like, let me steal right from the top every time. I mean, it worked out for Dennis Leary.
Yeah. Yeah. So audience members, they have, as great as they are in so many ways, they have no sense of no sophistication about material, for instance, which is
indicative of the general public too. I mean, the best stand-up bit in the world and a dog farting at the right time will make people laugh in the same way and have the same emotional impact and whatever. We want to delude ourselves and be like, no, comedy's important.
the dog knows he has a job to do, so I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it.
I don't get fed if the timing isn't perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Let me ask you a few things too about because we're getting now close to your current life, right? Like, what is your favorite part about your career these days?
Well, the shows, least favorite is the actual traveling, of course. When whenever I whine about the traveling or how much I dislike it, almost every time the person I'm talking to would go, everybody hates it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm weird. I like it because I grew up as an immigrant. When I was 3 years old, my memories start with like getting on a big plane and then everything gets better.
Yeah.
So I always associate travel with like, here comes something good.
Well, I should also, because at the end of the trip are the shows, which is what I like.
Yeah.
I like the variety of the shows I'm doing, but I like the shows. I say I don't brag on myself much, but I'll do it again.
This is the third time, Andy.
I like getting recognized.
Yeah.
It's cool, isn't it?
I get recognized just often enough to where my ego feels good, but I don't get recognized so often that I need to leave.
Yeah, not enough that you can't do a crime if you wanted to.
Yeah, and they're never annoying. They're never annoying, and they're just, and I can, one trip I was in Intercontinental in Houston, then I was in the Newark airport, then I was in LaGuardia, then I was back at Intercontinental. Wasn't recognized once. I don't get recognized that often.
Yeah.
This last trip in Hobby got recognized 4 times.
Just
It's
at
not
one
a lot.
airport.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah,
a
you
lot,
never know.
But it makes you feel good. Makes you feel
That's
like
part of
you're-
the reason you do it. Is the recognition of someone going, "Hey, you're good."
Yeah, and that's it. That's exactly.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody recognizes me just because they saw me. They like what I do, so that's nice. The best one is when somebody knows your name. Hey, you're Andy Huggins,
You're
aren't you?
Andy fucking Huggins.
It's not.
You owe me
Didn't I see you on the
$800.
internet, or aren't you a comic? Which is great.
Yeah.
But if they come up and say you're Andy Huggins, aren't you? Which actually, what that all only means is they have a good memory for names.
Sure.
They don't. They're not anymore.
You
impressed.
also have a good comics name, Like I always say, you need to have like 1 or 2 syllable first name and then 2 syllable last name.
And Huggins, the G is a hard.
It's perfect.
Hard G,
Yeah,
yeah.
it almost feels like a stage name.
Yeah,
you know.
So I like obviously the performing. Every week when I look at my calendar and I don't see an airport on it,
Yeah,
I'm a happy man.
it's pretty nice.
But I like performing. I'll do it till I wouldn't mind being wheeled on stage, but as long as the mind's working,
Yeah.
I'm good. So
Well-
that's good.
Around the time you did America's Got Talent, when things started, getting this new upwards trajectory, you told me you're like, no matter how big it gets, I still always want to just kind of perform at small rooms like Rudyard's.
Always.
You know what I mean? Like
Always.
You weren't ever chasing theaters or arenas or any of that.
Even today, where arguably perhaps a theater might be doable in certain cities, maybe. But even now, if I could make a living doing 15 minutes a night in a room the size of the Riot,
Yeah.
which seats maybe 120, maybe.
No, I think it's 180. It's almost closer to 200. The new way it's been reorganized.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Maybe 150, maybe something like that. But yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Well, if I can make a living playing in a room the size of the Riot that seats 90, doing 15 minutes a night, if I could make a living, I would not hesitate.
Same.
I would not hesitate for a moment. That's the perfect size room for comedy, and 15 minutes is a perfect length of time for a one-liner, as far as I'm concerned. I would love that. I would love that.
I was thinking about this because I'm like, you are so good at the one-liners, and so the thing that you do is distilled so to an essence, basically, that I don't know if you remember this when you were auditioning for America's Got Talent. At some point, they didn't even want you to see stand-up anymore. They were like, just go tell your jokes to the phone.
Yeah.
It was like 2017, and we went downstairs at Rudyard's, and I was like recording you in front of the bathroom or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was so nervous because I was like, this is not going to play. Like, they need to see stand up. Because I always assume bookers, decision makers, whatever, are stupid. And they're people that make bad, whatever. But again, it was just what you were doing. The essence of what you were able to do was so transparent that they could tell it from basically they could probably get it from a script of your jokes.
Yeah, I think so.
You know?
I think so.
And it was interesting to see, like, I always felt that, like, if I had that level of talent and had not been as recognized as you were until, these last 5 years or whatever, I would start stewing. I would become bitter. And I'm already very bitter at 31 years. You know what I mean? But you managed to, again, just focus on the craft. Just be like, I got to get better.
I get such joy from it that it's hard to get.
And it's real joy.
Yeah. It's hard to develop an overall bitter attitude about comedy. 'Cause, I don't even think about show business. I do now. I have to now. I just think about comedy. I just think about the jokes.
Yeah.
That's what I think about at the end. So as long as the jokes are giving me, as long as it's a challenge to write the jokes, and as long as they give me joy, I'm in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
I would never ask my managers to do this. It involve too much of a certain kind of work that they shouldn't have to do. But I know in the country, there's got to be a lot of rooms like the Riot.
Yeah.
Book me a tour like that. I'll try and make money off of merchandise.
Oh, that's interesting. I could
Just
fix that for you because I used to tour with Steve Hofstetter a lot.
Yeah.
And he basically, instead of like taking the deals that he would get from clubs, he'd be like, let me just find if there's similarly spaced things, event halls, banquet halls, whatever. And so he has like a huge list of all the 500 venues around the country that give better deals than comedy clubs and are basically like intimate little spaces or whatever.
I would love to do that. Mm-hmm. I'd love to do a tour of rooms like Rudyard's.
Yeah.
And maybe they probably couldn't afford to pay enough to cover my travel expenses.
You'd be surprised.
But merch. God bless the whole concept.
Ooh, what are you selling? What's your merch these days?
I have somebody doing a search. I've sold a lot of things over the years. T-shirts and coffee mugs. Koozies. Koozies are the best.
Oh, nothing moves like a koozie, baby.
That was my first piece, too. That was my first piece of merch, koozie.
They're the best. You stick one in your back pocket you can pull it out at the end of your act and say, here you go. You put one of your... The only problem is if you have a joke on there that dies that night.
Yeah. Oh, you guys don't like my Southern Baptist Scientology joke?
Yeah.
I always
merch. I'm not selling any at the moment.
Every comic sells shirts.
Yeah.
And it's a hassle. You got to have 9 fucking sizes and all the different whatever. I want to sell comedy pants.
Yeah.
One size fits all sweatpants.
Yeah.
with weird leather patches on.
This is interesting. My most interesting experience with merch. For a while, I was selling coffee mugs. Pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Pain in the ass.
Nightmare to travel around.
Yeah. Why it didn't occur to anybody, to tell me, no, that's going to be a pain in the ass. It was a pain in the ass. But I hauled them off to a couple of places, sold them for $5, I think, real cheap.
Yeah.
Still a deal given what it. But I just got tired of hauling them around, so I just stopped hauling them around. I kept them in my apartment. Couple of 3 boxes, I think, filled with coffee mugs. So I'm playing the secret group one night, and I forget why it came up in the conversation, but Barry Laminack said, he's playing it with me, bring the mugs with you. Let's try and sell some.
Sell some mugs.
And he said, here's what you do. Tell people, pay what you like.
Yeah.
Pay what you like, and just get rid of them. Just tell them, pay what you like. I was selling them for $5. Doing it that way, I averaged $7. Every single venue averaged $7. Now, as John Westling pointed out one time, another fine comic from Houston, people, it's basically a tip. If they're buying merchandise,
absolutely,
it's a tip.
Yes.
You buy them a shirt, you know what? They throw it in the back seat of their car. Maybe they take it out to wax their car, but
Yeah. Friend of ours, Mike Eshak. Yeah. He's the one who convinced me to start doing merch. He told me, if you do well and audiences like you, they want to give you their money.
Yeah.
So do stickers, koozies, T-shirts if you want, small stuff that they can just grab and go, hey, what and you just do pay what you like.
Here's $20,
and they'll go, and you'll make more money that way. I did a show in Ontario years ago, koozie sticker package. I did the pay what you like thing. This guy gave me $100 for a koozie and a sticker.
Yeah.
Because I had such a good set. He loved me.
Yeah.
Gay guy, too.
Yeah.
I got resentful because I had merch that was successful, and I thought that it became more successful than me.
No, that's indicative of how.
Yes. Well, it was just a hat that said Cocktown on it.
Yeah.
And it had a picture of me and like this outline of the city of Houston. And it was related to a bit, but I would often like forget to do the bit, and people would still want to buy it because it's just a hat with swear words on it.
Yeah.
And if you go to small towns or whatever, people are like, swear word, holy shit, I'm going to get that from my uncle. He loves swear words.
Here's the best merchandise advice I ever heard. Ron Schock, terrific comic.
One of the Outlaws.
Okay.
Slade Ham, who's still with us.
Yeah.
They're working together. They're both selling shirts. Ron asked Slade, what are you selling your shirts for? Slade says $15. And the brilliant Ron Schock says, look, you sell it for $15. They're taking a $20 out of their wallet anyway. Sell it for $20.
Sell it for $20. What are you doing with this change thing? Yeah.
And so he upped his price and sold as much, if not more.
Change.
But that was so funny.
It was genius.
They're taking the $20 out of their wallet.
He was thinking about American laziness. And he's like, that's worth $5. That's worth the comfort.
Yeah.
It would be funny, like thinking about your hat that sells more than, whatever. It would be funny if your merch was like a new invention.
Oh, that's funny. If you're like something that solves problems, you're like, God damn it, I just want them to see my horrible jokes about my dad.
Instead, I'm selling all these 3D printers. I didn't know it was going to be such a big hit.
I keep selling water filters that people love. The next big merch idea is ghost guns, for sure. Luigi Mangione style. Lower receivers, if you will.
There you go.
We'll wrap up soon because I know we've been doing almost 2 hours here.
Oh, yeah, we're pushing.
Look at that, 2 o'clock.
I wanted to talk Don't Tell a little bit with you because I am a shit talker. I talk down on a lot of the industries and institutions of comedy. And one of the few that I've never had to say anything badly about, hopefully never will, is Don't Tell, because they've impressed me at every step of the way, every corner, since they kind of started launching in 2018, where I didn't understand their business model at all. Coming from Texas, I was like,
I didn't understand it either.
You're not going to tell people where their shows are. You're not going to tell people
doesn't make any
who's
sense
on the lineups.
Yeah.
And then you see that these shows have transpired across the country. They're everywhere now.
Yeah.
Columbus, Ohio, but the suburbs in Houston.
Yeah.
And when people are telling you they're like, all of comedy and entertainment is trending downwards, we're all struggling to sell tickets. You go, well, how the hell these Don't Tell guys sold out everywhere?
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
that is indicative of an incredible business model. I don't care what else there has to be said about it.
I didn't realize they had branched out into filming
Tapes.
special.
Yeah.
People started, you want to do this, don't tell? Well, why aren't we telling? Just show
Immediately
up.
suspicious.
Okay, I'll do.
Listen, I'm not a criminal anymore. I can tell.
So I didn't realize how big they had come until I got a call from them. And what happened was
Michael Day had reached out to Kyle and Broussard.
And Broussard reached out to and said, and then he checked me out on Instagram and TikTok. And so they do a terrific job. I've done 2 of them thus far, and they've posted reels that
do tremendously.
One, more bragging, 27 million views.
Yes.
Oh.
27, and so many in the million range. So and that's when, if I bothered to chart how often I'm recognized, it really picked up when
and I was paying attention to the kinds of people, because I get a lot of people send me comedy all the time. Hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? Your clips were the first ones that, like, my cool young edgy friends and my wife and my dad were sending. Hey, you know this guy? I'm like, absolutely, I know that guy.
Yeah, and it looks so good what they film. They're so professional.
Yeah.
I've, like I said, done 2. It runs real smoothly backstage. They're real nice.
Yeah.
And
they for guys that get it done in one take, because most comedy specials and whatever, you at least do 2 shows.
Yeah.
You stop the thing if you fumble a word, you go, let's do that again or whatever. Theirs is, and I don't know if I'm talking out of class here, but theirs is genius, where it's like you just do the amount of time you're supposed to do, and then afterwards you can come back and be like, do you want to fix anything? Do you want to, you know what I mean? Like right after your set, basically. They'd be like, you can either do more material or redo a joke or whatever, and we'll use that to punch in.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
It's the best.
Oh, they do some form of retake, though?
Yeah, if you want. Some people are like, no, I killed it. I don't need it.
I had, on the first one, I blew a joke. I blew the punchline. I got distracted by somebody. So, but this is, again, a great thing about one-liners. I told them, look, just cut this joke.
Just cut that from there and there.
Cut that joke.
No one will know.
I got rid of 7 seconds.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and they're great. They're nice people.
Yeah.
And
they're doing important stuff, man, because so many, Comedy Central tried this over and over again, where they would get a big famous celebrity and they'd be like, hey, you break new comics.
Yeah.
And it kind of barely worked ever. I mean, for how often they tried that model, it rarely do you think of like, oh, this guy got their start. Actually, Matthew Broussard got his start on one of those shows on Comedy Central, on Adam Devine's House Party.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
But for how many people came up through that or whatever, and very few, and Gabriel Iglesias, he had Stand Up Revolution. There was a lot of shows where they tried that. And then Don't Tell's like, you know what? We're going to break comics. We're not going to even do what Gotham did. We don't need a celebrity host. We're just going to put out really, really high quality stuff and let YouTube and let all the different work that we've done kind of figure it out. Yeah. And man, nobody has had that level of success since the Johnny Carson Tonight Show.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I think I was asking somebody their opinion on this, but I think maybe they've surpassed Dry Bar.
I think so. Because Dry Bar had a lot more built-in audience early on, not just the Mormons, but again, people who want family-friendly, clean. And you've done a Dry Bar thing too, right? Oh, you haven't?
No, I thought about it. Barry Laminack did one. A lot of people I know have done
the deal I've heard isn't great. I've heard the deal is weird, the structure of it.
Yeah, and the list of things you can't talk about. I don't want to do that much editing of my act.
But it's funny that you say that, because again, the reason I thought that you'd done one, you're one of the few people I know that on a moment's notice, they're like, hey, take all the dirty stuff out of your act.
Yeah,
you can
but take all the drinking stuff out of my act?
I know, that's impossible.
I don't think so. Take all the stuff about sex out of your act? I don't think so.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm old. Thank you very much. Good night. That's all you left me with.
Yeah, without drinking and fucking, you're like, what do I do? Just complain about Facebook?
Now my back hurts. So that's why I didn't do it. That's another thing, and I haven't been able to eliminate it altogether. But pretty much, don't tell me what I can't do.
I know.
Don't tell me. And I tell Tommy when he's booked a couple of corporates for me, and I said, look, tell him I'm going to do my act. I don't have any problem taking out certain words.
Yeah.
Because it's not that often, and if it makes it easier, okay. But I still don't like doing that. There are a couple of jokes where
Same.
Yeah. I just kind of resent being told.
just an authority thing.
Here's the deal. You hire me because you think I'm a good comic. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
After you make the determination that I'm a good comic, I know if you do late night talk show, I would like to do one day. They're going to want to go over your act and give you notes. And first of all, you're thinking privately to yourself, who are you to give me fucking notes?
Who the fuck are you, Mr. ABC, failed upwards, someone's nephew loser? Shut up.
That's the first thought. But then you hired me because just trust me that I'm not going to go out there and drop the F-bomb. Trust me that I'm not going to get graphic about certain times. Trust me that I want to do well.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do things that'll help me. Just trust me. Don't make me go over my act. A dozen times.
It's one of the things I think that made that last Hicks Letterman appearance so special as a story, where you go, this is a guy who is not a big fan of censorship, but he came down to your rules, did the thing, and then you, David Letterman, not the network, you pulled the thing out of fear.
Yeah, fear's an awful thing.
I can't imagine how. I mean, he did one interview on public, like Austin Public Access or whatever. He wasn't that resentful at Letterman. He was like, yeah, I guess this is just corporate stuff or whatever. But I would have motherfucked that guy. I would have been like, dude, this is what sellouts do. You know what I mean? Like,
Tommy, my manager, and Barry, they tell him, look, he's going to do what he's going to do his act.
Yeah.
And most of them don't have a. In fact, none of them have told me, well, I'm sorry if he's going to do his act. We're no longer interested in this act.
Can't he do the Houston act instead?
Yeah.
Did you ever? I'm sure, I don't think you got an offer, but did you ever think about this Riyadh Comedy Festival that just happened?
Oh, never got an offer.
But would you consider if they were sending you, hey, you want to come?
If my either manager, had called me up and said, we just got off the phone with the Saudis, I would have interrupted them and say, no, and don't tell me the number.
Don't even bring it up.
I don't want to know what I'm turning down, but no.
Yeah.
And there, you got 50 plus different comics making 50 plus different decisions.
They got enough guys.
They all had their own criteria, their own factors. I wouldn't have done it.
But what you said about Dry Bar, it's funny that all these comics who speak their mind all the time, tell us how to live, tell us whatever, they seem to be fine with the restrictions on don't talk about religion, don't talk whatever, because it's like, well, it's a lot of money.
Yeah. My main objection to Riyadh, my employer would have been a murderer.
Yeah.
And that's just that.
And as an outlaw comic, he doesn't stand for.
No, bite him on the. So that was. I didn't want to be an employee of a murderer, and there's a rationalization for that, I suppose, but that's up to each.
No, it's honest. It's very honest. I hated the counter argument people made where they're like, well, we perform in the U.S. The U.S. does. I'm like, we do not perform for the Trump administration.
Yeah, and if Donald Trump offered, or his government offered me a gig at Mar-a-Lago, not happening.
Yeah.
Not happening.
Someone brought it up. Someone said, well, USO stuff. I go, hold on. USO stuff, people donate their time.
Yeah.
They don't make $4 million, and they're not performing for royalty or the upper echelon of society. They're performing for poor working class kids who might be committing an atrocity, sure, but you're doing something nice for people that have a horrible lot in life.
Yeah.
What this Riyadh thing was sports washing. And honestly,
you were washing feet.
It almost felt like it was smart by the Saudis to be like, what if we castrate the few people that have cultural influence in the West?
Yeah. Well, there were a couple of arguments that I would have had, but everybody, they have their own criteria. I would have my criteria now is I trust my gut.
Yeah.
I just try, and I got enough things on Judgment Day that I feel guilty about that I'm going to have to explain. I don't need to add to that shit.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tough enough interview as it is without.
It will be tough if the Muslims are right and we all turn down the Riyadh Comedy Fest. God's going to be on. You fucked up.
The one thing you didn't do well.
Yeah. So that wasn't it wasn't a consideration. Though somebody mentioned to me the other day, said it wouldn't have been you're so popular over the internet now, popular enough that people get invited to do shows. I've been invited to do shows because one person on
Just
the committee.
one, yeah.
So,
Hey, we got the budget. I like you. You're coming.
Yeah. That was the case at the
And you did Europe this year, right?
Yeah.
How was that? That was awesome, right?
I enjoyed it. It were small venues for small money, but it was fun. I enjoyed it. All English speaking shows.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't bring out your French?
No, and I was prepared. Yeah, and I enjoyed Europe itself.
Yeah.
I didn't do the sightseeing that maybe
Really?
I should have. Nah,
Because it was kind of quick in and out.
It was
and-
quick.
Did you go with you brought some people?
Next time I go to Europe, and I hope there's a next time, I'm not traveling by myself.
Oh, you traveled by yourself this
I
time?
don't like that. Did not enjoy that aspect.
I couldn't even conceptualize that because I'm
Yeah.
like, he's always with people.
Yeah. Now, as it happens, I've made a couple of friends, Americans that have been in Europe for a while and performing. So they helped me a lot. But a lot of time I was, flying solo. And I'm just the last person in the world because I'm so incompetent. I'm just incompetent. And I'm getting more incompetent as I get older. You don't want me reading train schedules, figuring out which one. I mean, it's not going to end well.
Yeah. It'll end funny.
To you. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the people. The anti-American attitude was, I wasn't subject to it.
Yeah.
People in Amsterdam were so nice and so helpful. I'd be struggling with luggage. Europeans and their fucking stairs.
Dude, they are.
I don't know what the deal is. I have trouble with steps.
Yeah.
When I'm struggling up a step, somebody will come along, help me out. They don't pause to take a selfie of them helping an old man.
Nope.
They just help you out.
They just do it.
Go on their way. It's wonderful.
It's collectivist.
Yeah. This is my favorite part. I'm on and it got recognized in Rotterdam.
What?
A guy wanted to take a selfie with me in Rotterdam. But I'm on the train. Maybe it was to Rotterdam with this lady, probably about my age, Dutch.
Yeah.
And just looked like you would think a 70-year-old Dutch woman would look.
Yeah.
Just kind of a stern, the face at rest is not happy.
No.
They're friendly, but it's just not a happy look. So we're sitting next to each other on the train, and you can see me struggling with a schedule, and I probably just look hapless, at rest. My resting face is hapless. Her resting face is stern.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she helps me out. Then she goes, and of course she's turned to her left looking at me and going, "Where are you from?" And I go, "Texas." She turns away and just to whoever she's speaking in her mind, she turns away and goes, "Trump." And didn't continue.
Yeah.
Didn't elaborate at
Just,
all. Didn't shout.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't even speaking to me.
Yeah.
It was just
Just in general. Yeah.
some image in the distance.
Yeah.
Trump.
I get that all the time when I'm in Europe. I tell people, I'm like, sometimes people are like, "Where are you from?" I'm like, "America," and they're like, "Ugh," and they're like, and then I'm like, "Well, I'm also from Romania," and they're like, "Ugh," it's even worse. God damn.
But yeah, I enjoyed it, and I'd like to go back. I won't go back by myself.
It was one of those things when I saw it happening, and again, this is just true for most of the cool accolades that have happened to you. You're one of like the 4 or 5 people that I can feel completely happy for with no jealousy, no, and I'm like, dude, this guy not only deserves it, but I have learned so much from you directly and indirectly that like I feel no bitterness whatsoever. And I'm
Well,
like,
I thank you. That's nice to hear.
even if you weren't nice to me anymore, even if you were like, I'm on my, because there's some people that like fame takes over and you can't get a hold of them anymore.
I did Comics Unleashed last night, and you expect me to do your podcast today?
By the way, Byron Allen, maybe the funniest billionaire of all time.
He's got. I knew Byron. We talked a little bit about it on the show. I knew him almost 50 years ago.
Yeah.
Last time I saw him 50 years ago. And this,
when he was a kid.
17 years old. He'd be on stage at the Belly Room.
Yeah.
His mom's sitting in the back.
Whoa.
Yeah, by herself. She drove him to and from. And now this guy is a billionaire.
He's a billionaire. He owns the Weather Channel.
Yeah.
And he's almost good at interviewing comics.
Yeah. Well, he keeps the interview part to a minimum.
Yeah.
To a minimum. And, he had some quick remarks that were funny.
That is good. The clips make it seem like it actually is funny. Because the first iteration of that show was just a bizarre... You ever see Comics Unleashed in like 2007?
Yesterday was the first time I've ever...
Oh, okay. So it was a show that they brought back.
Yeah.
It used to be on like weird public access comedy channels like comedy.tv or something.
Yeah. Well, now they're big time. They're CBS now.
I love it now. Yeah. And they're getting comics that are like, some of them are huge celebrities. Some of them are like almost my level, like kind of mixing everything. It's got like a tough crowd vibe to it again.
Yeah. I watched an episode this morning because I'm staying with, you wouldn't know Brenda Ponda.
Of course I know Brenda. She was going to come
Oh, yeah.
I love Brenda.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
Of course you do. I'm staying with Brenda, and we watched this morning, she taped last night Brian Kiley's episode.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so that's the first time I've ever...
Yeah. That's the first interaction with.
Yeah.
Norm Macdonald used to go on that show and he'd go, Comics Unleashed. It's one of the most leashed situations I've ever been in.
Yeah. He not big on the interviewing. He did, though he talked to me maybe a little bit more than the others just because...
Well, you did The View, you did NPR, like a big interview this year.
Yeah, that was interesting.
What else? Is there anything that like you want to be like a White House correspondence comic or anything? Like is there any like big checklist thing that you're like, I
would like to be a White House correspondent because the next time, if I were to ask a question,
yeah,
and he would say, "Who are you with?" Fake news, third grade, and I in my mind would be tearing up my White House credentials, and I would say, "Look, U.S. historians voted you the worst president ever. They also voted you the third of our three worst presidents. You're two of them. Don't tell me about income or third rate. You're third rate."
That would be incredible.
And the other thing I would like to tell them, look, you son of a bitch, you work for me. You work for the citizens of the country. I'm your boss.
Yeah.
So treat me, I wish somebody would say, treat me with some respect.
Yeah.
I deserve it because I'm a citizen, and you know what? I do a fucking good job. So treat me with some, I would love, and not that I'm big on chivalry and real brave, but if I was in the room and he called some female reporter a pig, the news conference would have been over because I would have taken it in an entirely new direction.
You'd have been like,
what's wrong with those guys?
You'd have been like the guy in Iraq. You'd thrown a shoe at him.
A shoe. I don't know what. I'm just so furious with the other.
They've gotten rid of.
Maybe there's a protocol that look, there's an understanding.
They've gotten rid of anyone with a spine there.
Yeah.
Because I was making a joke about like, once a year they have the correspondence dinner where they have a comic or whatever. But it is hilarious to envision like everybody that I know working to get you a press pass just so you could harass Trump.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't have to. You just have to. You would just have to be honest in your question, and then stand up for yourself when he insults you or your paper.
Yeah.
Sir, you just talked on a topic that I'm completely unfamiliar with, and I'm willing to bet money you lied about every aspect of it. I'd be willing to bet money you lied.
I was going to ask you because I'm like, you've probably never seen anything like this in the U.S., but I'm like, have you seen anything like this in other countries where you're like, oh, finally, it feels like we have like a third world dictator, but just now here?
Yeah.
There's definitely been other strongmen that like lie with impunity and been like, get rid of this guy or whatever. It's just not happened here.
Yeah.
Nixon wasn't even like this at all.
No. See,
They're
Nixon's lies were very specific and targeted.
yeah.
He just lies.
They're rehabilitating Nixon's image now just because Trump exists.
Well, I feel like I owe an apology to every previous Republic. I call up George W. and go,
Listen,
"Sir, I
He's
said
making
some
out like a
things."
bandit over this.
Dude,
I'll buy
yeah.
one of his paintings at this point.
Yeah.
he looks so
I was,
likable.
I was completely out of line what I was saying. And then, because of W, I felt like I owed his dad.
His dad, yeah.
apology.
God, that guy almost loved immigrants compared to Trump. Like,
Oh, well, yeah.
remember
Well,
that debate in '92 or it was '88 or something? It was him and Reagan are like, who could do more for illegal immigrants?
Well, that was, of course, Reagan's his farewell speech had to do with
Yeah.
immigrants.
Yeah.
Being how welcoming.
Well, your brain works better than Ronald Reagan's did when he got into office. So I got to say, walking and writing stand-up is good for you medically. Laughter might not be the best medicine, but writing jokes is.
Oh, it does. It does. As I said, it keeps me young. And it does keep your mind sharp. You know, they say doing crossword puzzles, just exercising your mind in some sort of
It's a huge,
creative way.
It could literally be life or death.
Yeah, staves off dementia. I mean,
My grandpa, he did crosswords every day, and he always attributed because he's like if I stopped working, if I stopped whatever, like all these things basically will stop my inertia.
yeah.
I think he actually died of a mistranslation. I told him this before, but he was supposed to get a surgery for a colostomy bag, and they don't say colostomy bag in Romanian. They translate it directly. They say an anus contrary to nature. Anus contra naturi. And he heard this and he goes, no, I'll just die with the butthole God gave me. I'm not going to upset my creator and show up in hell and be like, yeah, check this thing out. And he's like, no, I'll just whatever. And I remember thinking, I was like, if I could just translate it to colostomy bag, he might have done the surgery.
Yeah. So what did he die of? Colon cancer?
He got a stent because he had two surgeries. He was supposed to get the colostomy bag, and then he afterwards, when that healed, he was supposed to get like a heart stent thing or whatever. Well, he did the stent and didn't have the colon thing or whatever, and he basically wasted away. Like a week after his surgery, he like died of I don't know, diarrhea or shitting his whole bowels out, or I mean something god awful. But he chose that over plastic butthole in a little bag that you have to empty all the time.
My dad had a colostomy bag after a botched operation.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's just a horrible.
It's a tough way to go.
Yeah. Well, he got through it, but it was.
And it's only 6 months or something,
yeah.
It's like.
Dad, close your robe up. Yeah. None of us want to be looking at that.
But anyway, you're 74, right?
75.
75. God damn it. You don't have 75-year-old energy. You are much more with it and lucid than the acting fucking president and the last one, I guess. And you got 4 years, to go before you're there.
Yeah,
age,
my next 4 years maybe fucking ugly.
That would be funny. Just gets worse and worse. Then you're on Fox Nation doing a Roseanne special.
Yeah, my stand-up is just babble.
Yeah.
Just
But that's
completely
another thing. Look, a lot of other white talented comics who don't get their breaks, who as they age, they go the Republican route. That's something that you need more praise for not doing.
Well, I told someone the other day, probably Brenda, I'm almost insulted that I haven't been getting literature from the far right. Because I'm an old white man from the South.
Yeah.
And you don't think
You should be
what's
one of
wrong
their-
with me? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the demographic.
Yeah.
I'm the perfect demographic. Never any literature.
They skip right over you. They go for
Yeah.
black conservatives, and then you're like, what's wrong with me, guys? I'm the poster child. No, it's really, it's like being a vegan. Like, you abstain and you should get credit for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, I think most of my friends of a certain age are certainly anti-Trumpers.
Sure. Yeah.
Most of them. I have a couple of friends that are very conservative, but they just can't abide.
Yeah.
Can't
I know quite a lot of conservative people who are like,
They
this
can't
Trump thing is
abide-
not for me.
Yeah, can't abide Trump.
And there's probably lots of hardline Democrats in the 90s who are like, this Clinton thing is a little not for me. He's kind of a compromiser compared to where I want my ideals to stand. Yeah. There's always been people, but this is there's shitty comics right now that are unifying the comedy scene because of how bad they are, and I'm like, that's kind of what Trump is doing for a lot of political class. He's making us see, even people like Marjorie Taylor Greene is like, hey, that might be a reasonable bitch compared to this.
Somebody offered the theory that the reason Trump is so popular with a certain group, he has a fault for everybody.
He does. Yeah.
You know, you're a womanizer. You cheat on your wife. Well, Trump does that. Yeah. You lie all the time. Trump does that.
He's like reverse Jesus.
Yeah. Everything. Yeah. He has something.
All the
for
biggest
everybody.
pieces of shit can see a piece of them in him. That's what they like.
And that's why he has the support he has.
I've never thought of it that way. I think that is actually might be.
That's the best theory. The mirror to society bit.
Yeah.
Incredible.
My dad died in 95. My dad died in 95. His politics were center right, I think. Very, very socially. He grew up in the Depression. He was horrified by a lot of the counterculture, though he didn't get stark raving mad.
He wasn't scared of cities or whatever, you know.
I often thought he'd have been so horrified by Donald Trump in person.
Yeah.
My dad was a kind, decent man, reasonable human being. Donald Trump, you know what he would have really hated? And this is why everybody's tuning in, is to hear what my dad thought about it. But I'll continue.
You know what Papa Huggins would have said.
Yeah. Oh, he hated whiners. And Trump just complains.
He's such a wiener.
He complains about everything. My dad would have, that's why I think my comedy doesn't include observational humor where I'm making fun of, don't you hate it when people do that? Don't you hate this?
Because it's kind of whining.
I'm not going to complain
You're not complaining.
Yeah. I have one bit where I complain about a certain type of behavior. But other than that, boy, my dad would have just been.
You set up your jokes as if you're complaining, and then you misdirect a lot.
Yeah.
That's what, you're a genius with that part of it.
Yeah, he'd been horrible. And my mom, who died a couple of years ago, pretty centrist, I guess, horrified.
It's interesting to see what horrifies like sort of conservative people, like not like socially conservative, not politically, right? Like people who are like, gentlemen and ladies and more retracted or whatever. And then this Trump thing, you're like, good God, this is like watching an abortion.
Yeah.
This is intense.
Yeah.
And it makes them reconsider a lot. And that's kind of, I had the same thing. I'm like, man, I wish this person was alive to see Trump.
Yeah.
Or to see what Trump means for the social standing. Because again, I'm not put off by Republicans. I'm not put off by conservatives.
Neither am I know too many of them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Too many of them.
Yeah. I make money with those guys.
Yeah.
But good God, whatever this is, where you're like just a fucking steamboat captain that's like, a felon and fraud and all this stuff. You're like, this is fan fiction. This is stuff that we would joke about 20 years ago, and now it's your worst fear.
This is something, again, back to being judgmental about certain things. I recognize, I get praise, people compliment me, and they really enjoy what I do, and they reflect that when they're talking to me. I know damn well some of them support Trump.
Sure.
So, I mean, where do I draw the line? I mean, you don't.
Yeah.
They feel this way. They feel this way. They are who they are.
Yeah.
And they come for whatever influences they have, and they're nice to me, polite to me, and okay.
I try to treat Trump like Woody Allen. I separate the art from the artist.
Yeah. There was somebody telling me about this Trump supporter that has been so kind to their mom, helping them when a tree fell or something. They're out there. They're good people.
Yeah.
They're all good people.
Yeah.
It's just that's a, I can't explain it. Blind spot.
It's what made me
bad road. Whatever it is.
I was sober for 7 years, and then Trump got elected, and I was like, look, I'm not that upset, but I don't want to be sober for this anymore.
Yeah.
I would like to not be lucid for whatever and I don't regret it that much, but I'm like, it kind of felt like the right thing to do. It's like, I don't want to kill myself, but I would like to tune out of whatever this is.
I wish. I know there were more than a few people said that when Trump announced in 2015 oh, this is going to be great. The joke's going to be great. And I swear to God,
It ruined comedy.
I thought, no, it isn't.
No.
Because he makes things ugly wherever he goes.
Yeah.
It's just going to get ugly.
Yeah.
And there are no jokes strong enough to offset the man's ugliness. And
There's not even bullets strong enough to offset it.
no. But
Anyway,
at any rate,
you've been so generous with your time.
Well,
Thank you so much for doing
very
this.
welcome. I enjoyed myself.
This has
That's
been,
not always the case with
That's not, yeah, it's true.
with podcast.
Well, that's the thing about haters. We make a lot of people have a great time where they normally wouldn't have.
And where can people find you online?
Andy Huggins Comedy.
There we go. Is that andyhugginscomedy.com or just
AndyHugginsComedy.com.
perfect?
His Instagram is great. You have a YouTube channel too?
I think I hate this phrase, but this is the way to describe it. Barry put together a team.
Yeah.
I have a team.
There you go.
I know.
And so
Also, shout out Barry Laminack, one of the greatest.
no, not that Barry, but shout out to Barry Laminack, good friend, good comic.
Yeah. A
Barry
different
Katz.
guy. Okay. Oh, Barry. Oh, you're with Barry Katz?
Yeah.
Shout out to Barry's.
Yeah. And he's put together, and I think they're, every once in a while I'll call up Tommy and say, are we happy with what the team's doing? He goes, yeah. Okay, so I assume stuff.
Well, you're a prolific guy. You have lots of specials, lots of albums, everything. So people got to check that out. Andy Huggins, Instagram, YouTube. Thank you so much for doing this, man.
Oh, you're
Thank
very
you,
welcome,
Andy.
both of y'all. Thank you very much.
I hate you, bitch.